Hello and welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and sometimes talk about all of their favorite ones they've seen over the course of a whole year. That's what we're doing today. My name is Andy Conduit Turner, and I am joined by a regular co-host and our very favorite, one of our very favorite guests that comes to join along. I'm joined by
Emma Cownley.
Emma. Nice to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited to dredge into this gargantuan list with its myriad subcategories.
Yeah, we never
Thorough.
things by halves, do we?
Nothing if not thorough.
Yeah, you've got to do that. You've got to do the homework. You've got to make sure that we've covered everything. And actually, let's be honest, that the year we've had for horror, we need the subcategories to avoid like feeling like we've been remiss not mentioning so many great films and bits of horror we've had in 25.
Yeah, it's been a good year. It's been a very good year. It's been a good year for me because I've done all three Fright Fests. So I feel like I missed all of the stuff that actually came to normal cinema and saw all of the stuff that either doesn't have a distributor yet or will be coming out next year. So in a way, that's good, I
Yeah,
feel.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's excellent. And also, we discussed this ahead of time. We're not going to play by the rules here. If something was only in festivals last year in America of all places, we're allowed to mention it this year. Likewise, if we saw something at a festival this year, you saw it in 2025 with your eyes, it's a 2025 film.
Yeah, play it loosey goosey.
That's right. You know who likes the rules, Emma? Fascists, and we don't like them around here, so we're going to play by our own rules.
And that's so good that we can bring fascism into the conversation this early on.
Yeah, in a negative sense, which you don't always get from a lot of podcasts.
Naturally, of course. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of people who, as far as I know, are very anti-fascist, let's address the elephant in the room. Ben isn't here today. He's been called away on urgent business, but fear not, dear listener. I have all of his picks ready to go. I won't do his voice, but I will. I'll read them out as we get there.
If you felt brave enough to do his voice, though, I wouldn't stop you.
Yeah, I mean, I could try and do his voice,
Don't
by
do
which I mean I'll do the Tom voice from Tots TV. Let me see. Hello, my name's Ben Arrington. There you go. That's exactly what he sounds like.
That was weirdly accurate for something that you just pulled out on the fly there.
Ben has been practicing it long. I've learned from the master.
I still can't speak French, so
Yeah, the Tots TV reunion that we're working on will have to continue to be on the back burner till we've got it.
mm.
Because we've mastered all the composite parts. Right, Emma, we have a lot to get through today, a lot of good choices and a lot of difficult choices we've had to make before we get into the matter at hand. Let's talk a tiny bit about horror news. It's the perennium of the year between Christmas and New Year. There's very little going on, but there's a wee bit of news that I will share with you, which is one of our first horror festivals of the year is raring to go. And look at this in terms of a lineup. So Horror on Sea is happening down, well, not exactly down your way, but more your way than mine, down at Southend on Sea. You know what the dates they're running, Emma? Get ready for an obscenely long run. Friday the 16th of January to Sunday the 25th.
Wow, that's like BFI style festival
Yeah.
shenanigans.
Wall to wall horror stuff going on over there. They do a good mix of some new independent films. They run some old classics as well. Obviously, maybe the with that many days to play with, the intensity may not be quite so high as a Fright Fest session where it's early morning till late doors, but lots to choose from. I believe there are still tickets available, so get yourself over. They're on all the socials as Horror on Sea Festival. If you're in the south of England, there are worse places you could be spending your January.
And also, isn't that just like such a nice way to get through January?
It is. I've come up with well, I haven't come up with a great strategy. Karen came up with a great strategy based on the fact that her lovely mum got us both an advent calendar, but then didn't see us through the course of December to give it to us. So Karen and I right now are rocking, ready for next week, January and advent calendars. We're going to get through the
Oh,
majority of January by having a little bit of chocolate every morning.
do you know what? There's a gap in the market for that.
Yeah. Just a little dose of happiness in the most miserable month of the year.
Yeah. 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 And if you took that to the horror film festival, then you'd be quids in, wouldn't you?
If you could take those through. You could get some little skull-shaped jellies in there as well. You could be, to be
You,
honest,
you could do anything.
yeah. Listen, Peter Jones, if you're listening to this, and I know you are, this is our idea. No stealing. Copyright.
Yeah. Yeah. Patent pending on
Yeah.
this.
Hours, not for you. That's all I've got for news, but I do have the question for you. Now, obviously, we're going to be talking about what you've been watching for the course of the year, but is there anything since we were last together, Emma, that you'd like to mention that you've seen that doesn't form part of your selections today? Anything that's worth a mention?
Um, to be honest, your selection categories are so in depth that I really had to mine the depths of my memory to even fill that out. So for you to suggest that there might be something spare that I can just bring out now is ludicrous.
Well, get ready for even more ludicrosity as I share with you some things that I did manage to slide under the door since our last episode, but I'm not going to mention anything that did squeeze onto my top 10 list. But for the completionists on there, you could go on my letterbox and scroll through that. But should you not wish to do that, I'm going to give you a sentence about a couple of things I finished off my year with. First, It Ends. Have you heard about It Ends? Some friends driving on a road on the way on a little road trip, having a lovely chat in the car. All of a sudden, find themselves on an endless stretch of road. Can't be stopping because then people maniacally run out of the forest and try and drag you out of the car.
My
Terrifying.
God, okay, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it
Well,
was
not
a
for
good time.
them, obviously.
From from the grammatical structure that brought you It Follows, It Ends is a completely different type of existential fear and terror. I liked it. It was good.
I'm writing that down
Yeah,
and I
It
will
Ends was
watch it.
good. I also watched Locked, which was about a Skarsgård who was a car thief, not in real life, just his character being trapped in a car like a Batmobile by Anthony Hopkins.
I heard about that.
I like a I like a bottle episode. I like a little single location dialogue heavy drama. It's a very silly one. And I need to check my sources on this because sometimes you'll get a teenager written by someone in their 40s and it's evident.
Yeah.
I feel like this time we've established some great equality in across the generations because it feels like in this circumstance we have a man in his 70s being written by someone in their 30s and it's unusual. It sets for an unusual tone sometimes. It is a little bit culture warsy in places, but I like the tension of a single location survival drama.
But I also think you couldn't do something like that nowadays without addressing the conflicting generational
Mhm.
kind of situation. People would be like, well, that's not realistic. They'd be, so I
Yeah,
can, you'd need to get into that a little bit, I think.
it's true. And they do, and they get into it quite a bit. I also finally caught up with Queens of the Dead, which had its premiere at New Fest earlier in this year. It's coming out. It's available on Shudder.
Is that Romero
It
Jr.?
is. It is
Yeah.
Julia Romero's very own zombie movie. Has all of the tropes that you'd like from it. Lots of homages to her dad's work as well. Really, really enjoyable. A lot of fun.
Oh, good. I'll have to check that out.
A slightly lighter tone, I would say, than you would get to a George A. Romero zombie movie. A little bit more hope to it. But in 2025, that's what we need.
He had some really bonkers bits in some of his films, though. Really like weird, random, like funny shit, and then it would just go back.
Yeah. Tonally, I would say closer to maybe like Land of the Dead, which I
Yeah.
quite enjoyed
Oh,
as well.
okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I saw Ash, which is also on Shudder, which is about some space folks doing some colonizing off in space, sort of a sci-fi cosmic, loads of psychedelic purples and memory loss and time jumps and all these other things. A lot of fun. Visually, absolutely stunning. Probably the film I would say is most like something based on a video game, but actually isn't based on a video game I've ever seen. But I do not say that as a negative.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Sounds good.
I also caught up with something which I cannot read my own handwriting for. Oh, The Strangers Chapter 2. That is what I caught up with. Did you catch up with The Strangers Chapter 1 earlier in the...
I'm not even convinced I've seen the first one. Is that the one where they've got those masks and they
That's the
harass,
one. They
yeah,
harassed
with
Liv
people in their
Tyler
house?
and
Yeah.
Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia turns up.
Yeah, like the to be honest, the premise never really sold me. It felt like something that was quite tired, but the fact that it's got a sequel and people are still talking about it, maybe I should shut the fuck up and just watch it because I feel like people aren't going to be still raving about it if it's crap, right?
I would say quash those feelings, Emma. It is a it is a nightmare. The there is it's a really odd thing. Obviously, people work hard on loads of things, and there are some good action beats, but a bit like with Halloween in its final incarnations in the last few years, I do struggle to think why a very well made and really capable and tight film what has been reimagined as a trilogy, and this second episode gives me a lot of the Halloween kills about it, whereas like I'm not sure you had three movies of content here, so this is a lot of
Right.
stuff that happens. Bearing in mind, for a significant portion of this film, our heroine evades the strangers. They're completely out of the picture for a little
Well,
bit.
good
She,
for her.
well, you would think so, wouldn't you, Emma? But then, you know what she gets attacked by?
A bear?
A wild boar.
Oh, oh.
Just for a scene, there is a boar. He's there. She has a fight with the boar, and then after the boar is gone, is not mentioned again.
So it's kind of like a Chekhov's boar type
Chekhov's.
of a.
I would, if maybe it will become Chekhov's boar. If the boar, I, I will
It's
go and
never ever
retroactively.
mentioned even in chapter three.
Yeah,
We know.
yeah. If chapter 3 comes out and the boar saves the day, having ha a heroine having earned its respect, if it turns up and saves from the strangers,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
chapter
yeah,
3, and does like a little, in Independence Day when the fella turns up and flies his F-16 into the spaceship and blows it up, saving the day. If
yeah.
that boar turns up at the end of that,
And
gives her a
just,
little salute,
yeah, and goes for it.
goes for it, then I will retroactively add another star to every single one of these movies.
That's fair enough. So you're hoping for a kind of Tolkien the Eagles
Yes.
scenario. Yeah. No, they just showed up. Just
But
showed
yeah,
up.
they knew
Just showed
now
up.
was the time.
Yeah. They don't get involved,
Yeah.
but they decided on this occasion, just show up.
Yeah, there just needs to be a scene at the start of chapter 3 where the boar is like pacing up and down in its cave,
Yeah.
and there's like a maybe we get a real bit of stunt casting, someone with a really iconic voice to do its like internal monologue saying, "I had no reason to attack that woman," and and I've
Yeah.
and I've
Yeah.
seen I've
I've
seen on
had
the
time
news,
to think about it. She's dealing with a lot. That was wrong of me.
yeah, the strangers are after her. I've been catching it on
And I've added
obviously,
to the
yeah,
stress
yeah.
by getting in the front.
How am I gonna make this right? And then the
Yeah.
boar's wife will be in it and will say like, well, why wait to the new year, Ben Boar? Get out there and
Turn over a new
make it
leaf
right now.
today because every day is another chance to turn it all around.
And he will at the end, and that's how he's gonna do
Yeah.
it.
And
Four-star
the
movie
last
around.
shot is him off into the sunset, silhouetted against the sky.
The boar will return
Hand
in
in
Avengers
hand
Doomsday.
with Liv Tyler. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We could bring this around. The final thing I've seen in this absolute whistle stop tour for the end of the year is R.L. Stein's Pumpkinhead. In nowhere
Oh,
related to the Pumpkinhead of Days of Yore,
yeah.
the big Stan Winston monster. This is about, it is a young adult story, about a town where there's some sort of pact to keep the crops going. And if you're unlucky and you're a victim of the Pumpkinhead curse, you will get got, and then your family will forget you ever existed as well.
Well, that doesn't sound that bad.
Or you'll also be dead,
Oh,
but
you
you're
die.
so
Oh,
like if
boo.
you're
Okay.
so like if your brother has been, slurped off to the shadow realm by Pumpkinhead, and the kids still remember them, and no one over 18 does. So the mom was like, "Oh, you silly goose, you never had a brother. Stop making up obvious lies."
Yeah, incredibly detailed lies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About having a brother. Of course I would remember. So there's some hijinks. There's some sneaking out of your house when your dad, the sheriff, has grounded you. It is. There's one adult who has got a real failure to launch, who therefore still remembers because he has the mind of a child. Um, there is no in real life, like he's fine. He
Yeah,
is a functional adult, but but he's got the Doc Browns about him, but he isn't such a high achiever. Doc Brown
sure,
without
sure.
without a science degree.
Yeah.
Um,
Without his
and
own
then
lab.
yeah, exactly. He just lives in a trailer in the woods. Um, and then skip forward 30 seconds if you are going to watch R.L. Stein's Pumpkinhead. Slight spoilers. Childhood hijinks, incredibly depressing ending.
Oh no. Well, they've got to learn, haven't they, at some point that life isn't that fun.
I don't think yeah, this is a harsh lesson to learn.
Yeah. Oh. Mm.
Sometimes you will save the day, but again,
Sometimes you won't.
spoilers, skip forward. You might save the day, but you will find your own existence erased and no one remembers you.
I found that to be the case with that film. What was it? Summer 1984.
Summer 84,
Yeah,
yes.
where they're like, "Oh, we're gonna catch this guy. We think he's a killer," and then it flipped at the end, and I was like, "This is horrible. I'm really upset by what I've seen here today, and now I'm traumatized."
It was. I remember. I think I reviewed it
It really
even
pulls
reasonably
the
badly. I was like,
rug
what?
fucking hard. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, woo! We're gonna it started out really like Fright Night. Oh, we're spying on the neighbor. We think he's a killer. Oh, actually, so on and so forth. Cue horrible trauma.
Yeah, crew being really, really sad.
Yeah, this is what really happens when you do that. And it's
Tell
not
an
fun.
adult.
Yeah, it was literally a cautionary tale, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah.
My God, that film. So I feel like that maybe it's akin to that.
I think you've absolutely nailed it. It has that kind of feeling. Right, Emma, with that whistle stop tour of those films I slid under the year's door before they were before it was finished with us. There's another one I did that did make my top 10, but I'll keep that top secret until we mention it. Um, so now is that time, Emma. We're going to get into our picks of the year. There's a lot to cover.
I mean, there's a lot to cover.
We've got a lot to cover, but thankfully, they've picked just the two people, plus Ben's notes, with the stamina and foresight to be able to do this. Before we do, though, let's give people just a little break from our voices, mine in particular. And we've got some guests, some past guests, some future guests, much like you, we're our London correspondent for Fright Fest Halloween. We've got some correspondents from around the internet who've sent us their top three movies of the year. So
Ooh, you only gave him three.
I made them pick their top three. You have to be
Fucking hell.
privileged to get a full top 10 out of this. Um, so first, I'm going to turn to recordings that have been sent in from, spoilers for last week's episode, Quiz of the Year winners, Aaron Truss and Jake West. I've got their top threes. They bloody did it. You're right.
They did.
So,
Do you know what? Was it Aaron said to me a couple of weeks ago? Didn't think he was going to win. He was like, "We're going to lose. We're going to bomb out so hard." So,
well,
congrats.
they did it. They turned it. To be fair, I mean, I didn't know, they didn't know what questions it was going to be, but fate was in their hands when the final extra challenging question that you gamble your points on in the last round was a Hammer Horror question, and Jake was literally wearing a Hammer t-shirt. So,
I mean, you'd want him to come through because
and he
that shirt is a promise, really,
yeah,
isn't it?
and he came through powerfully, powerful stuff. Well, I tell you what, let's turn. to our quiz-winning correspondents, Aaron and Jake, right now. Gentlemen?
Hello, Ben and Andy at the Horror Hangout. I'm doing a little video for you to tell you my top 3 horror films of this year. There were so many more that I really wanted to check out, but it will have to wait until next year, I'm afraid. So my top 3 films for 2025 horror films. So, gotta send my love out there to Guillermo del Toro for Frankenstein. Absolutely loved Frankenstein. I pretty much flat out watched all of it in one sitting, and it was just visually stunning, incredibly beautiful to watch, and the cast were absolutely incredible. Shout out to Mia Goth as well, who's just awesome in everything she's in. So number 2 goes to Weapons. Weapons, I had no idea what it was about going in. I thought it was a very strange title, and I was not disappointed. There are some beautifully creepy moments in that film, and I went running like the kids out of the cinema down the street to the next pub to talk all about it with friends and stuff. So congratulations to Warner Brothers on that one. And then my number 1 for 2025 is also another Warner Brothers movie. Has to go to Sinners. Sinners was incredible. I saw it twice in the cinema. It blew me away. It's an incredibly impactful, character-driven story that there's so many things to it. Just all the ingredients work. You know, whether it's the soundtrack, the writing, the direction, and the cast. And I would not shut up about Sinners all year. I'm still talking about Sinners. I think a lot of people for birthdays and Christmases got Sinners on Blu-ray. So yeah. Those are my top 3. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, Weapons, and Sinners. Wishing all of you at the Horror Hangout and all the listeners a very happy new year. Take care. Oh yeah, and we won the quiz.
Hello everyone at the Horror Hangout. So I've been asked to tell you my top favourite horror genre movies of 2025. They are as follows. Number 1, Sinners, Ryan Coogler's superb vampire movie, which I've just thought was incredible for so many reasons. I loved the setting, I loved the characters, I just loved that whole world, and you were interested in every character in that. So just, yeah, I came out singing, dancing on air with that one. So beautiful vampire film with a really interesting take on vampirism. At number 2 would be Weapons, which was, once again, just took me by surprise. I didn't know it was going to happen, and it just kept unfolding. I love the kind of mystery elements and the different perspectives when you were seeing the story from different characters' perspectives. So really enjoyed Weapons. And number 3, I'm going to do Sisu 2, The Road to Revenge, because I love the first Sisu. This time Sisu's up against he's up against the Russians in this one, and it's just got so many fun comic beats in it. There's bits of it which are kind of like a Looney Tunes cartoon, and I was just on the floor with laughter on some of it, particularly the train sequence. The train set piece is absolutely phenomenal towards the end of that, but I really enjoyed that movie. Really gory, really fun. That's my top 3 of 2025. Cheers, Horror Hangout. Bye.
And we won the quiz.
And oh yeah, and myself and Aaron Truss, we actually won the quiz, and I believe it may be the biggest score they've ever had with 46 points. So one to beat.
Hello everybody, it's Ben Errington live from the editing room. Just to jump in and say we also have received a video from our good friend Kev Martin, all the way from Edmonton in Canada. So here is his video with his top 3 of the year. Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Kev from the Lobby DVD shop all the way over here in Canada, also from the Last Video Store. And thanks for asking me what my top 3 favorite horror movies of the year were, Horror Hangout. So without further ado, here we go. Honorable mention real quick to Weapons and Sinners, but they shockingly did not make my top 3. Go figure. Number 1, Stephen King's The Long Walk. This is based off Richard Bachman's book that King wrote back in '66, I believe. It blew me away, mainly because of the dynamic between Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, Cooper Hoffman, and David Johnson from Alien Romulus. I thought the chemistry, all the kids were great. It was a story about brotherhood and just the horrors they're going through by having to participate in this lottery draft pick system. And big props up for Mark Hamill, who looks more like Brian Cox in this movie than anything else as the Major. So yeah, Long Walk. Definitely, I'm a big King fan, and I thought it was a great adaptation. Number two, the body horror movie Together. Um, Dave Franco and Alison Brie, obviously they have great chemistry for reasons in real life. It was what I wanted in a body horror movie. The first half was kind of creepy, with a lot of John Carpenter nods, and riding off the coattails of The Substance from last year, this movie I thought was just as effective, plus it gets absurdly comical at the end. And any movie that uses the Spice Girls as a plot point, A-okay in my books. And finally, Bring Her Back. Bring Her Back is my favorite horror movie of the year. It's one of those ones that's so good, you watch it once, and you're like, that was amazing, I might never watch it again. But also the fact that it was Sally Hawkins in the lead, and to see her in that kind of Toni Collette Hereditary role, going absolutely bonkers, was really disturbing to me, because I know her from Paddington and Paddington 2, which is weird to see such a drastic change, but that shows what hell of an actress she is. So those are my top 3 horror movies of 2025. Cheers.
And we are back here in the studio, Horror Hangout Towers. Aaron and Jake there. Some interesting takes. We won't spoil, we won't show our hands just yet, Emma, but unless you've got a big surprise for me, I think the one that really made me raise my eyebrows there was Sisu 2, which I've not caught yet.
No, I didn't even know it was a thing. But if Jake likes it, that must mean it's good.
Yeah, I've seen the first one and it is excellent. Excellent. Like doesn't necessarily have maybe the horror elements of being like a helpless victim or there being that power imbalance there because the hero in Sisu is an incredibly capable Nazi killing man. Um, but certainly gory enough and violent enough to fit into the genre. And I believe they've had not horror hangout. They've definitely had Fright Fest appearances, as I recall.
Oh, really? Oh, I should get into that then. Is it practical effects, the gore, or is it
Yes. Yeah, it's a very
really?
well as far as I'm aware, that is a real bloody affair.
Oh, sounds good. I always enjoy it when you've got a protagonist that's capable.
Yeah, and he has a dog as well, which excellent work. You need a hero that's nice to animals, and
Isn't there a Keanu Reeves film that's like that when he's got that dog?
yes,
That's a
is that
thing, isn't it?
that the first John Wick, which I've not brought myself to watch because I know the murder of a dog is what drives him to a bloody revenge.
And that's fair enough, to be
Yeah,
honest.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not a court in the land would convict him.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll return at various points to other hot takes from guests past, present, and future, like the ghosts that haunted Scrooge. But for now, let's turn to a couple of things from you and I, Emma. Let's begin with honourable mentions. Is there anything that didn't quite make your list, but you want the excuse to say aloud in this forum to give a little nod to as we get to the end of this year?
Yes, definitely. No Seams, directed by Raven Carter. I thought that the premise was really interesting. Um, I really thought it was topical and important of a thing to talk about, the reclamation of land and land being taken away from black folks who had purchased it rightfully after the abolition of slavery in the US, only to have the land forcefully taken from them, and the whole concept of like the land remembers. And even today, like wealthy white people who don't recognize that that goes all the way back to the oppression of other people, and they think that they're kind of emancipated from the responsibilities of what happened, um, because it's today, not recognizing the legacy of that. And, there was it was such good and clever writing as well, because you had a black like man in there as a love interest who was undid all the stereotypes that we have about black men and stuff in the media and in life. He was compassionate, he was caring, he was like, what do you need? I'm here for you, like I'm bringing you along. and it was written by a black man as well, the script. Forgive me, I don't know who the writer is. Let me just write. It's important to share names of good work. Um,
While you look it up, Emma, I can tell you that I was lucky enough to meet, I believe you've spoken with Raven as well, right?
I've
Isn't she
spoken with
an
Raven, yeah.
excellent, like such a passionate filmmaker, and she really like got into the story. Like I felt, and she felt, and she told in a really interesting way
I
as
think
well.
she did, yeah. I liked the visuals a lot. I thought that they were quite haunting. The writer, Jason Michael Anthony, thought he was great. I think that they just, you don't often get to, well, I guess you do, but they're not spotlighted enough. Stories like that in horror. And I just thought it was neat. Like, let's have more stories like that from that perspective. That's what was important as well. And like finding your community and your family and reconnecting with your roots and stuff like that. I just thought they were fantastic themes for just personal growth, but also adjacent to horror and the horrors of the past. And I just really liked it. I really liked them. I thought they were nice. I very rarely at Fright Fest kind of go up to people and talk to them about stuff because I just feel like shy about it. But I just had to talk to Raven afterwards. Um, I thought it was neat. I really liked it, and I want to be able to kind of spotlight it here if I can. Because when it was at Fright Fest, I don't think it had any distributor yet or anything, so I'm hoping that it does now. You
Hoping
caught
that
up
it
with
does.
her more recently than I
Yeah,
did.
I caught with her a couple of months after Fright Fest. We didn't manage to find ourselves in the same place at the same time on that hectic weekend, but we made a point of catching up after the event. And I think at the time we recorded, she was about to go to some more festival screenings that weekend in the US, and hopefully it'll have picked up some distribution
Mm.
from there. I expect to see it appearing on Shudder or one of our other platforms anytime now. Hopefully.
I really think it's so important films like that for now,
Hmm.
not just for people to have space to share their experience and the wrongs that have been done to them and the through a horror lens, but also for people nowadays to understand other perspectives. Because as we begin to get more polarized in society, I think horror is such a fantastic vehicle for dropping you into someone else's perspective and showing you without being kind of preachy. Um, and don't get me wrong, I think people need to be preached at, but they don't respond well to it. I think people don't learn very well.
Yeah.
They're not receptive when you're like talking at them like that. So I think that's a really good
Through the
honorable.
lens of an entertaining horror story.
Yeah, I just thought it was great. I really liked it. The main character was so likable as well. So likable. I just thought it was great. And the baddies were so bad as well. Like yeah, like that they were kind of in a Joffrey type scenario where would be hard not to hate them as
Yeah.
people for the good job that they did in the film.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, you son of a bitch,
it was
Joffrey.
you that took the lad, yeah.
Yeah.
Expertly casted when you actually find yourself angry with the people with the actors. And I will just like slide in quickly for just a second cheeky one.
Please keep going.
Pumpkin Guts.
Yes.
Brian M. Ferguson's short film that you can just watch on his Vimeo for free. It's just there for free. And I thought it was fantastic. I loved how Carpenter-esque it was. It felt retro yet contemporary. I loved the concept. I love any kind of horror that has that kind of lore and it's attached to an urban legend or a thing, like It Follows or something, where you yourself would be like, right, what would I do if I
Hmm.
was in that scenario? And exploring all the possible ways and the rules around it and how it would work. I think that that's got legs to become like a really cool slasher if it ever did get developed or anything.
I may
Um,
be speaking out of, not speaking out of turn, I may be speaking of things that have made up in my mind. I feel like a feature-length version of Pumpkin Guts is coming.
is it really?
I
You
think I
better
saw
not be
something.
lying to me,
It
Conduit
might have come up
Turner,
on like Letterbox or something like that. Let's have a look here.
because I want it to be, but that doesn't mean, oh, what's this?
What the hell? I could find this much quicker if I could. If I could type. No, there is a Pumpkin Guts that is coming out in 20. That's only another short though. My goodness, if no one's picked this up yet, you should do. I'd love a full length Pumpkin Guts.
I would wear merch of that little poster. I think it's cool. I would wear a
Yes.
shirt of that film. I thought it was great. Those are
Right.
my honorables. Only two.
Pumpkin Guts. I have probably gone the other way, Emma. I've got a long list because I think I really struggled this year. There are so many films that I genuinely have rated 4 stars or above, which I don't throw about willy-nilly because I like a 2 star movie, Emma, but like genuinely so many films that I've already considered not just good but great this year that
Wow.
it almost feels like you'd be remiss not to mention them for the most part because most of them have got marketing machines behind them, so they don't need me to describe them to you. They're very well versed. So I'm just going to focus on a couple. But before I
Mm.
get to those couple, I'm just going to say the names of people who didn't make my top 10, but I want the people that made them and for the fans out there to know that I see you and I liked these films. So, are we ready? Rumpelstiltskin from Andy Edwards. What a
Oh,
film.
bloody Rumple, bloody Stiltskin. That was so good. That's
So
my
good.
favorite of Andy's films that he's done.
Yeah, Rumpelstiltskin was so much fun. So many great performances in there from lots of familiar faces.
Mm.
Joss, what an incredible performance in the makeup as Rumpelstiltskin as well, the creature effects.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I'm only going to shout out in detail the smaller films, but other ones. Bone Lake, technically a 2024 film. We got it in festivals in this country and then cinemas at the end of the year. Great, love it. Sexy films are back, and I'm here
I was going
for
to
it.
say that's the sexy one, isn't it?
That's
With
the
the,
sexy one.
yeah.
Let's have a look here. Companion, Say No More, great. The Monkey, great. Say No More, didn't quite make the top 10. Affection, Fright Fest Halloween, worth talking about that a little bit. Incredible. Um, do I need to pause, Emma? Have you got that on your list? Are we saving it?
I've got that on my list, mate.
Say no
And the
more.
monkey and companion. So we'll
We'll
get
come.
into
We'll
that.
get. We'll
Yeah.
get into them. The one that people might raise their eyebrows at. 28 years later, has only made my number 11. So, well,
Surely that's a testament to
that's a
how.
testament to how good the year has been. Great film, but I've thought about at least 10 other films more. They've stayed with me a bit more. Mag Mag, also Fright Fest, Halloween, maybe my top of the charts for J horror at the minute. So much fun.
Wow. I couldn't
Really
stay to
liked it.
watch that because I had to get the train home and I had a ticket.
Oh yeah, Mag Mag was great. Watch it if you can, as soon as you can. Great. Kombucha from Jake Myers, a Fright Fest summer film that was so incredible. I didn't actually get to catch it live at Fright Fest. I caught it. Jake was good enough to hook us up with a screener afterwards, and we were able to meet and chat a little bit about it as well. I'm so sad I didn't get to see it in a cinema because it was incredible. Like you were mentioning, completely different reason for than No Seams, but the I think the way that especially with creative roles and creative jobs and creative industries right now, the way they're looking commercially, the way that AI and other tools are looking to separate the people from the skills with from money and the people with money from needing to have any skills. Corporate culture as a rule, particularly corporate culture, when you need to pay a salary and you are a creative person and that's where your passion and your energy lies, all of those things together with a monstrous consumable that actually consumes you, a la the stuff.
Oh,
What a brilliant, poignant film. Scary, funny, really, really on the button for where we are in 2025. Loved it. Like it was so close to cracking my full top 10, but I couldn't pass it by. Like, again, the strength of the year we've had. Um, it's worth still mentioning and calling it out. If you get the chance to go and see Kombucha in the new year, I urge you all to do so. And my final honorable mention, he says after a super long list, um, Kia Roach Turner's Beast of War. this year. Have you caught Beast of War?
I've not.
Loved it. Set in the Pacific campaign during World War II, about a group of Australian soldiers. Their lead is a native Australian, and it obviously leans into things that I didn't have so much cultural awareness of as well. His struggles and the racism that he faces as a native person um, in Australia at the time, him as a lead character. Effectively, Emma, shortcuts for this. Imagine one of our greatest horror films of all time, Jaws. That story where mean old Quint is telling them about his experience during the war with his ship sunk and out in the open waters with sharks around them. It is that origin story with a twist. It is about these soldiers whose ship is scuttled during the Pacific campaign out at sea, and they are forced to survive on wreckage with a monstrous shark circling underneath them in the water. For
Okay,
an
that's
independent film and an independent budget, great creature effects, but most importantly, incredible, incredible character work, incredible storytelling. You're with it with these guys, and much like you're saying again, the great features of Noceums, and we can bring out from there the wonders of skillfully made independent cinema. Um, you feel it with those characters. You want the characters to survive. You want the characters who are nice but are wounded or injured. You want to protect. You want to jump into the screen and protect those guys. You want to shove off the horrible racist dickhead into the water so the shark can just get him. And they're in like the most hostile environment you can imagine. So they're on burning wreckage in the sea, which you can't survive in at the best of times, with a shark circling below. Um, there is still a war on, so there are enemy planes flying overhead as well. You don't know when you hear someone. It's not like in the modern era, like, if you're lost at sea and you hear a plane, oh, they'll be rescuing me then. No, they could be your enemies who will shoot
yeah.
at you. Um, Incredible. And what I loved about it, the visual language that has stayed with me in this one is because of the setting that it's in, we don't get, for the most part of the film, that look under the water, the blue clarity that you get when you go under the surface of water. This is water that is stained and scarred by the conflict that it's part of. It is orangey brown with blood and engine oil. Underneath the surface of that water, with those fires burning on the surface, is a dark and murky and horrible, terrifying
My God,
world.
you should work for their marketing team.
Yes,
You should
thank
be
you.
writing the press releases for that.
Um, yeah, I loved it so so much. And again, any other, lots of other years, these would be the films that were absolutely topping the chart. We've just been really spoiled this year. If I knew this episode wasn't going to be long already, I'd be like, right, lads, it's a top 20 this year. Get stuck in. But yeah, amazing films, and I would urge anyone to make sure they go and see them.
I think I will. I
I
think I will now that you
Well,
said that.
thank you so much. I've sold at least one extra ticket. Um, I have a couple of honorable mentions from Mr. Ben Errington for you, Emma. I will read them to you and then you can react. So, It Ends, we talked about earlier on.
Yep.
Silent Night, Deadly Night, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
Queens of the Dead, we mentioned. Good on you, Ben.
Yep.
Dracula, A Love Tale.
Oh, do you know what? That I've got that on one of my in a category later on.
We'll be
So,
talking about that a bit later then. And Final Destination Bloodlines. Guess what, Ben? We're going to be talking about lots of these things.
do you know what? I should have put that in as an honorable mention as well, actually, because I thought it was so clever of them to get to where they are now in that franchise and still find fresh ways to explore the subject matter. And I also read in Fangoria that when the two guys that were behind it were pitching the studio on over Zoom, they'd done a thing where it's actually a video.
Of
Yeah,
them being like
and
Final
then the
Destination.
fire place behind them catches fire and they're like, oh my God, and they go over there and the ceiling fan decapitates one of them. And then they come in and they reveal that it was all just a pre-done little thing that they'd put in the pitch meeting. And I was just like, I'm gonna go and see that on the merit of that.
Give these people the money. These are the people that
Give
are,
them the money.
they have the passion to make these films that you're going to want to see. And we'll be
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
Final Destination in just a little while.
Oh.
For now, though, before we go to another little dose of guests, let's cover the negative side. We're not Quentin Tarantino here. We're not gonna talk about the people we hate, but we are gonna talk a little bit about disappointments for the year. What's disappointed you, Emma? What's been bumming you out with the except I mean, you can talk about people's behavior in cinemas if you wish.
No, I think that anyone listening to this podcast knows full well what it's like to be in the cinema nowadays, and is probably just as angry as I am about the degradation of the cinema going experience. Um, but yeah, I've got in my disappointments, I've got four. I'll start with the one that was least disappointing, which was Dracula, A Love Tale. And I really wanted to love this. I was even speaking to friend of the show, Ashley B. Red. She did a TikTok on it. She was really singing its praises. I was like, oh, can't wait to see that. If she likes it, I'm going to love it. I had to tackle it in two sittings because it had an arrogant runtime. The first half I found to be so boring that I bought this fucking thing and I don't like to waste money. So I was like, I will go back and watch the second half. And luckily it did kind of, I found the second half to be much better. But I really struggled with the tone. I found the tone to be very erratic, the format, and then at the end I realized it was what Luc Besson was the director. And
Yeah,
so I
Luc
was kind of
Besson
like,
of The
oh,
Fifth Element, right?
yeah, I was kind of like, all right, okay, that track. I kind of get it, but it felt like it didn't know what it wanted to be. It felt like it didn't know it didn't feel distinct enough from others that have come before. And in the areas in which it was distinct, it was baffling. And I made notes because I thought it was going to make my list and I was going to have to talk about it. And the lists are always like, why is he sweaty? What's this dance scene? And just a list of questions. And so I don't know, like in the year of our Lord Nosferatu and Frankenstein, I'm like, I was primed to love this. And I just came away confused and kind of bored. I don't know. I just think I've got something against Luc Besson as well. I think I don't like him as a person. So I don't know. I just maybe I think it's a mismatch between my expectation and what it actually was. So I'm not going to be unfair about it, but I did find it quite baffling. Um, Something that made me unbelievably angry and felt like I had been cheated was the shrouds. Um,
Ooh, how about the shrouds?
the shrouds. I took myself on a date to the Prince Charles cinema to see this film, and I hated it. I hated it. I just thought, what the fuck is going on? Really long, awkward scenes, and I have on my list of top 10 a film that does have quite prolonged, sustained shots that really forces you to linger and be still. So I appreciate that. But in the Shrouds, I thought it was a really compelling idea that they were exploring about having the ability to view deceased loved ones after they've died and the technology to do that and stuff. But this just kind of went off, and I really did not care for the main character, and he was a self kind of insert character,
Okay.
played to be just like Cronenberg, and I did not like him. I hated him. I found it very difficult, a difficult film to get on with. And I think again that was me going in with an expectation and coming away just feeling like quite bitter that I'd spent time. And now we're getting progressively more angry as I move on to The Rose. The Rose by Seth Daly. The
Okay, yeah, the Rose was a Fright Fest one, right?
Yes, it was. And I thought I was gonna really like it again. And I found certain plot elements very bad. The spaceman. I was like, what is the function of the and ju I just I really I I struggle to even articulate what it was that really made me. I had so many questions when I came away from it that they were detracting from what actually had been made. Because I was like, why'd she do this? Why wasn't she talking? Why did and yeah, I just really struggle to articulate why I so strongly did not like it. And I think it was just because there were so many random, I feel like they were random choices that had been made that I just,
Just repelled you at a spiritual level.
it really did. The fact that they had the little girl just not talking for the whole, for I don't even know if she did, if she did talk, it was like towards the end. And I thought, oh, this has got to be part of a thing, or maybe she's an alien, or like, I don't know, like. And I was just left with more questions.
She's probably thinking about that. She paused her Switch game, thinking, "Fuck's sake,
She fucking
I,
paused that switch.
I don't. I've got to get back to that boss."
Yeah, yeah, it's very rare at Fright Fest. Even if there's films that I don't like, I can find merit in almost anything because when you are there with the directors and the cast and everyone who's made it, you hear how much work has gone into it. It gives you an appreciation then for when you're watching something. You're like, okay, this just wasn't for me. Um, but that film, I felt like it had been written by someone who hadn't really thought about what the story was. I don't know. I really didn't like it, and my crowning disappointment.
Oh, go on.
I don't think that you're going to be surprised by this because we did mention it on the episode that we did after Fright Fest Glasgow, and that is House of Ashes, directed
Yes.
by Izzy Lee.
Your
When
best mate, Izzy Lee. No, not your best.
No, no,
Your
no,
best mate is the star, of
I'm
course.
yeah, I'm besties with the lead actress now. So she was the best thing about that whole
Yeah,
film.
she was
Her
great.
performance was so she was on the brink constantly of breaking down. You could see it on her face. She was one bad move away from completely shattering as a
Mhm.
person. And I was like, you've got me right there. But her performance was constantly undermined by her co-star, by the editing choices, by I just think sometimes shots went on for much, much longer than perhaps they should have. And the way it was cut together, I feel, was oftentimes so abrupt that it felt comical. And I know that you and I, when we were in the audience, the director was quite taken aback by how
That
many
people
people
laughed.
laughed. Yeah.
Because
And
it's the subject matter is so serious. Again, we
so
talked about
serious. They could have done so much with it. That's the thing. Like, I was really primed to kind of get into like writing an essay on it, to publish. I was like, we need to be talking about women, being criminal, women's health and women's healthcare and the way it's going and the criminalization of like, um, losing a child or having to abort a child, like awful, awful stuff. And I was like, wow, let's really get into this because this is a time and a place when we need those stories. And it just went somewhere else.
yeah,
It
and it
started so strongly and
you've
it
nailed it.
just
It's the way that
veered
it
from its
cuts.
own path.
Yeah, it's how that sort of goes away very quickly in the story because obviously we have a ghost story that comes into it, her former partner and so on. But yeah, the way that it almost falls comedically with her new partner, like I don't want to be so mean as to say that he's a bad actor. He's just not the right choice for a serious
He's
and
not the
sinister
right
part.
choice for that film. Yeah, he really undermined that lead actress's performance. What's her name? Let me give her flowers because she was fantastic. Um, and I wanted to be out here, female directors, championing them and like what they're getting up to. And I was robbed of the chance to do that. Faina Sanchez, fantastic work from Faina.
Yeah.
Um, I thought she was great.
It's just that they're in two different films, and they're the two people that are on screen the most of the time.
Are in
Um,
two different films.
yeah, they're in two different films.
And I think maybe the people that edited it got a different brief and they
Yeah.
were like, oh, I get what we're going for. We're
Yeah.
going for Garth Marenghi's Dark Place
That's what it
style.
comes to. Like, have you filled my coffee cup with pins again?
Yeah. Oh, what's this? Fucking ashes and blood in my coffee cup. What are you like?
Stop putting bits of your dead husband into my food. Thanks.
Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah,
Oh,
I feel like I was primed to love it. That might be the actual theme of the disappointments, and maybe that is just the crux of disappointment. Feeling primed to love something and going in only to have it be a different thing to what you'd imagined
yeah.
it was, which is no one's fault. Like, I'm never going to be here to shit on things, but also those four films did make me feel confused and
You
angry.
you felt disappointment, which is you followed the brief to the letter. I'm really looking forward to us talk more because it's going to come up a little bit more. We're going to be discussing more of Dracula, a love story. Obviously, it was on Ben's thing. You are going to find it in my list, and maybe that is because we went in with different expectations, or because, and I will own my um, tastes and proclivities, I like some weird, irreverent shit, Emma. So that's
That's the issue. Like I come from an English literature background as a
Mhm.
writer. Did it for A level, did it for degree, did it for my master's. So this kind of classic literature is like baked in. Um, and Frankenstein was nothing like the book, really. And I gobbled it up.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking
Gobbled that
forward to
up.
these. I'm looking forward to us getting into these because I think we've had across the group of us, and if Ben was here, I'll do my best to represent, doing his voice and everything, like various approaches to this one. We'll talk about them when we get there. I should
Yeah,
cover off
yeah.
my
I want to know what you were disappointed by.
right. I was disappointed, Emma, by a couple of things. One, I'm going to go in order again of the level of of disappointment. One, my expectations weren't high, but I've consistently over the last few years found myself more disappointed by your bankable franchises, your known names, and those series that you see come back time after time after time again. First one, the mildest disappointment, because I would begin by saying, still a good film. Um, Predator Badlands, I liked perfectly well. In fact, not even liked. I think it's a great film. But, and we talked about this when we recorded the episode, next Predator film that comes out, I think we have to have a serious discussion whether we can cover it on a horror podcast
Oh,
because it's an action comedy. Like it has sci-fi elements to it. It has monsters. It has and this isn't. I know there was backlash from certain corners of the internet when it came out, and it was a whatever the age rating was, like a teen age rating, rather than it being a hard 18 or like an R-rated movie. I don't think it needs to be an R-rated movie because you can get away with an awful lot when your primary antagonists or your people that are getting killed are robots or space aliens, right? Like you can
yeah.
do an awful lot of violence on them, and it is cartoon violence, not physical, realistic violence that gets you a stronger rating. And again, I really liked the movie. It was a fun movie. I had a blast watching it at the cinema. It had fun moments in it. It had great fist pumping action moments, but
But not a horror.
it's not a horror movie anymore. In similar ways, you won't hear me talking about the new Spider-Man movie on here. Doesn't mean I don't like it, but it means that they're not. I don't think it's genre cinema anymore,
Mm.
which, despite the fact I liked the movie, makes me sad in my heart. So that's a disappointment for me.
Oh.
Um, my secondary disappointment was a series which has had some dizzying highs, but I don't necessarily come with an expectation that every single one of them is going to be good. And that was The Conjuring Last Rites.
Oh.
Um, Sort of built as a franchise ender, the conclusion of the fictional Warren's story.
So did they manage to kill the doll in the end, or is the
Nah,
doll
she's still knocking about.
she's at large?
Yeah, she's still well, she's in a cupboard, so she is contained, but not gone by any sense of the word. They fight a mirror version of themselves towards the end. The
But aren't
Niwas.
we
They're not called
all
the Niwas.
fighting a mirror version of ourselves
Yeah, we are,
in
but
life?
yeah, more metaphorical for the rest of us. They actually get angry
Yeah.
looking versions of themselves shouting at them from a spinning mirror, spinning ever so fast.
Okay, that doesn't sound like a good time.
And the
Yeah.
thing is, also you get so much of a great supporting cast there, and Rebecca Calder from Broken Bird, phenomenal actor. We've seen her lead a performance, and she has moments of being able to deliver some real scares here.
Mm.
But then again, this is a film of two halves. You get a little bit of build up to them, and then the Warrens arrive at their house to do an exorcism with about 35 minutes of the film left, having been having a barbecue and meeting their future son-in-law for the first half of the movie. And old Patrick Wilson go, I can't do any more exorcisms 'cause I've got a dicky heart. Doctor says no more exorcisms.
Yeah.
Um, and then two things happen. So the Warrens turn up at the house to do the exorcism, and the family all but disappear for the end of the film. There isn't those elements that are from the strongest Conjuring movies. For me, The Conjuring 2, where you see them, they're in the house with them, they're spending time with that family, and you're seeing a great dynamic they can bring together, supporting them through the scary shit that's happening.
Yeah.
You don't get that. It's a film of two halves, and it's like a Venn diagram, but the two circles miss each other. They go into each other's space, but never intersect at any point particularly well. And for me, a disappointment, and a disappointment which made so much money that don't worry, everyone, the series isn't ending. There's going to be a TV show and a prequel and loads of other stuff, possibly involving the daughter and son-in-law.
I really don't feel like we need more of that, you know? I think we're done.
Yeah, I think I'd be done. And we do have a lovely church scene at the end, which is like Iron Man's funeral, where every character that's been in it, even for a bit, was somehow,
A
oh, that
cameo.
person that you did an exorcism for, should we invite them to our daughter's wedding? But they lived in England. Yeah, fly them over. Okay.
I mean, I also think that, in real life, the Warrens are quite problematic individuals. So,
Yeah.
like, if I were an actor, I don't think, especially Ed Warren, I don't think I'd want to touch that personally. But
Patrick Wilson has that gift though, isn't he? He's like I
I,
would say, absolute top tier Hollywood star, has been in more films than you could name. Could probably still walk around Tesco's and not get bothered though.
yeah, I'd agree with that. Didn't he do the soundtrack as well? He did it with Ghost.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I love that cover. Shakespeare's sister, isn't it?
Oh,
Stay.
yes, it is Stay, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nailed it. I knew I could rely on you for those
He's
music
got a
cuts.
fine voice, that man.
His Elvis cover he does in number two in his little acoustic session.
When he was in Phantom of the Opera, opposite Jared Butler, yeah, yeah, good for him.
I only just learned something Phantom of the Opera. This is an aside, Emma, but I learned something Phantom of the Opera centric this week, which has
Go
blown
on.
my mind. That in the one of the major players in the stage version and early filmed versions is Michael Crawford of Some Mothers Do Have 'Em fame.
Yeah, he's on the CD recording, I think.
I
Is
think
that
he
him?
is. I've
Yeah,
never put those
with
two things
Sarah
together.
Brightman. Yeah.
And now I cannot get out of my head that he's going to be like, if I was to go and watch Phantom of the Opera, he's going to be roller skating about wearing a little red beret. What a time. I'm sure he doesn't.
And that would have been a very different play.
Yeah.
if that were, yeah.
Um, my final disappointment, a film
This
that
is your biggest
this is my
disappointment
biggest
for the year.
disappointment of the year.
Not to lay it on thick or anything.
Because again, I love an objectively bad movie. I mean, you know that I
Yeah,
do.
I mean, we did horror. That's a huge portion
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah. Things that I have bought physical copies of myself as a little Christmas treat behind me include Tammy and the T-Rex when I saw it as a
Love that. Do
yeah.
you know what?
Mwah.
I've paid out top dollar in the past for a DVD copy of Monstered. So,
Yeah, you see?
yeah.
The objectively bad ones are sometimes have the fondest places in our hearts.
Hard Rock Zombies. Awful. Love it.
See? All the big hitters. Death Spa, possibly the best high/low five ever committed to celluloid. Um, I was disappointed by Keeper.
Oh,
Have you caught Keeper?
I've not. No.
Um, Keeper for me was broken by the fact that I love a bit of folk horror. I loved the
Yeah.
mystery. I loved the unpicking of everything that was going on as we saw the reveals. Some of the creature design, they're some bits better than others when they have to rush it towards the end. Is some bits are stronger. The practical stuff is maybe better than the computer based stuff, but um, a good creeping dread, all of it undercut by the fact I couldn't believe the two leads were a couple, let alone a couple that have been together for a year.
What, no
It's
chemistry whatsoever?
zero chemistry
That's awkward.
whatsoever. And like just not believable that they are together. There are sometimes like I could have maybe bought that if they're a couple that weren't getting on and one of them and she was thinking about breaking up with him because turns out they've been together for a while now and they don't have much in common and they don't have much to talk about and blah 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 blah. I could buy that. But it's meant to be oh, but you never stick around with anyone and you've stuck around with this guy for a year and it's going really well and he's taking you away to his cabin for the weekend. Gonna try and sacrifice you to some spirits of the forest to remain young, but we don't know that. You're having a good time. And yeah, yeah, I just the whole time I was like, what is going on with you two? It feels like you're on, 80 seconds at speed dating. You got 10 seconds left. You're just waiting the clock out. It's rough. And it undercuts the impact of the entire film for me.
Oh no.
And just some odd choices. Like what I've learned is that from, three movies in quick succession from Osgood Perkins. We've had Keeper, we had The Monkey, and we of course had Long
Long
Legs.
legs.
Two of them are the flavour of Osgood Perkins, which is a little bit more ponderous, a little bit more mysterious, a little bit more ethereal. And then
Hmm.
you have the mad shit that is The Monkey, and that is the flavour of his films that I like better. And it has been established. So I was disappointed by Keeper because I still liked Long Legs. Wasn't my favorite tone of his type of movies, but I still had a lot to get out of it. Whereas this one, I really did struggle to just get on board with the characters.
Oh no, it's really off-putting, isn't it? When you know in real life, you're like, you'd never be together. You
Yeah,
you, you just wouldn't.
exactly.
And you
Um,
can't care about their relationship because they don't care about it.
no, like, well, and the thing is, they're supposed to as well. It's like I care about this so much, and there's one bit where he has had to go out for the day, and she's been quite traumatized, and then she comes back as, "Oh, your cousin was being really creepy," and he's like, "Oh yeah." So on the other hand, I've got some wine, and it was like, "You're mad. I would be leaving."
Ew.
Let me see what Ben's disappointment was.
Yes, let us have those.
Best horror TV. Missed out. Looking forward to. Oh, maybe he didn't write. Then maybe Ben has been.
Oh ho ho.
Maybe he has been not disappointed by anything. Let me just make sure I didn't.
I would love to believe that he's that pure of heart.
He does have a good heart, doesn't he?
Yeah. But to the extent where he just can't see shitness. He's got shit blindness.
That Ben does apparently have. Oh no, he does have some. Don't worry,
Oh,
he's as
okay. He's human
flawed as the
after
rest of
all.
us. Just me, like you know what, Ben. The other bit of feedback I give to you is if you could just bold the headings, not all the text, then I could read this a bit easier. But I'll let you off. It
Yeah.
is Christmas. Um, Ben's disappointments were also Keeper. Um,
Mm.
he was disappointed by The Wolfman.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? I feel like the trailer just did the whole film.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was like, why am I going to watch this now? I've just seen the whole film. What more could there be? You've showed me all the story beats in chronological order. I was like, okay, well, thanks.
The only bit it didn't give you was that as he becomes the Wolfman, he sees things like Santa's little helper from the thing. So if only you could learn blah blah sit, where the family talk to him, and it's like blah 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 blah, and they can't
Are
hear him anymore.
are you kidding that
Have you not
that
seen it?
no, no,
Yeah.
why would I
So
watch it?
as he becomes the Wolfman, you see a lot of his POV,
Don't
and
do that.
and
No.
and as he becomes more wolf-like, he sees them in black and white, and they talk like blah 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 noise, like The Sims.
Well, I hate that. So thanks. Thanks. I hate that.
But because his daughter has a connection with him in her heart, he can still understand her a bit. And then he was also disappointed by I Know What You Did Last Summer, which I wasn't disappointed by because I thought it was going to be worse than it was.
I didn't see that because it looked like a remake but with cameos. But I wanted to show up because it was a female director. But I didn't. So, and
Didn't
I'm
make my
glad
top
I
10, but I liked it. I watched it maybe not as the director intended on a plane, but
sure.
but it was fun. I think it plays very well with the fact that you fucking hate all of them in the beginning. It's like, oh, you are all twats, die. And then actually they endear themselves to you a bit as they go along because they are flawed, but they're not all as bad as you think. And it's funny. It's a funny slasher, so I enjoyed it more, maybe more, but I didn't maybe go in with the same expectations. I maybe had the opposite problem to Ben.
Sure. Oh, okay. Well, that's what's nice, isn't it? Converging
Converging opinions. It's a rich
opinions.
tapestry. Um, that's our disappointments and our honorable mentions and everything. Emma, before we call into some of the others to see what they've done, shall we do our 10 and 9? Let's start with
Let's
you. What is your number 10 on the list? Oh, before we start, if at any point we mention a film and it's higher in someone else's list, we will put a pin in it and we will come back to it later when it
I
reaches
don't
time.
think that my number 10 will be on anyone else's list.
I've got Ben's here, so you're ready. What is your number 10 of the year, Emma?
My number 10 was Mother of Flies by the Addams Family.
It was in my honorable mentions, but please, I'd love the opportunity to talk about it. Go for your life.
Well, first I'll start with a low-key plug that I did actually cover this in the debut issue of my occult music and arts zine, Earworm. But it was kind of a cheat because it was just the Q&A that Kat did with the cast slash directors, whatever, after the film. And I always go with the dictaphone because old habits die hard. So I covered it because I thought that it was gorgeous in its disgustingness.
Yeah.
I really love the dynamic of a family that writes together and acts together and directs together, and they're in a family band and they make the music because I think there's something about having that closed circuit ecosystem for creativity that breeds something. Like, I think when you're looking at art, you're looking at a piece of somebody's innermost self, aren't you?
Mhm.
They've had an idea that's come from somewhere and they've made it real so that you can experience that thing through their perception. And it's so neat when it's somebody that's like written it and acted it and directed it and they've done all of that. It's such a you get such clarity of artistic vision. And I really like the way that I feel like from their filmography as a family, this being like one of the most recent things that they've done, you can really see the progression of them as a family, in their craft and how they work together. I thought that that kind of necromancy angle, and connecting that kind of element of witchcraft or belief back to nature where it should be, where it belongs, and the whole kind of thing of, you know, death, renewal, kind of coming to terms with your own mortality, the cycle of living and death was beautifully represented. I thought their music fits their visual language and their storytelling style so perfectly. And it's great music. And I say that as a music journalist. Like, I love their music. I think it's fantastic. It really captures the tone. And as I hearkened back to it earlier on in the pod, they linger over shots and they kind of sit you there in their world, because they filmed it in the Catskills where they live, like at their home. And so you can really tell their love for nature and the environment and how connected they are to everything. And they'll just sit you in that and just leave you there for just a little while, or to just watch as a character slowly explore something. And I think increasingly, when we're seeing media created nowadays, it's for a two-screen audience.
Hmm.
They want to make sure that you can scroll on your phone and still kind of follow along with what's happening in a film or a TV show. And Mother of Flies doesn't do that. It's like, no, you're here now. You're going to sit with us and we're going to show you this. And it's going to go on for as long as we say it needs to. And you're just going to pause and you're going to take this in. It really is a slow burn. It takes its time. Um, and it almost challenges you to sit there with it. And I found it very moving. I just thought it was a beautiful watch. I just loved it. I liked them. They're cool.
They're
They're awesome folks.
so lovely. We didn't manage to catch them on video to chat, but I managed to just bump into them while we were getting drinks outside. So nice. I believe I've said it on the episode before, but I'll say it again. Solveig, the witch, the titular Mother of
Oh yeah,
Flies,
Toby Poser.
Toby Poser, she was very nice about it, and I said this to her in person as well. Best and most complex on-screen witch. Sorry, Angelica Houston, you're off the top of the charts. I think so complexly played, like really gives the authority, the wisdom of that witch character.
A
Like you
grey
see
character.
her in this incredible setting as well. Her home that they build that she lives in is like an awe-inspiring. Like that is one of the things I think about the movies, and it is one of the stills that I could close my eyes and still see from a film that I've seen and enjoyed this year. Like the way her home looks, the furniture inside, how entwined with nature it all is, and just the authority and the sort of unspoken knowledge that this character has when
Mm.
you see her. And the thing I like about it for a character like this, like whether from the perspective you're looking at in the film, is it an antagonist? Is it a grey character? Is it a hero of the story? Because it's all three.
Yeah, you just don't
Story
know. And
progresses.
even by the end, you still don't know,
Yeah.
really,
And
do you?
throughout all of this, unless you remember something I don't think she raises her voice a set for a second.
No. Quiet, commanding. That's her energy though anyway, Toby. I feel like she's got a very grounded and serene energy.
Yeah.
And her husband John's got a bit more of the razzmatazz.
I yeah, I was a big fan of it. I know, and it was just such a moment, I think, as we were sat there on the last day. It was one of the last films I was able to watch before I had to head back because I live a long way from London. But like the final day after like a several days festival, that sort of gentle environment, sat there with those beautiful vistas that like,
Mm,
and it's not a boredom thing as well, but I had to sit forward in them because I was like, I'm going to fall asleep in these peaceful opening
yeah.
scenes when you look at these beautiful glades and the rivers and the
Yeah.
beaches.
And the
Like,
minutiae as well, how they get you right down into it, like a spider's web caught with dew, and like
Yes.
lots of kind of beautiful little things that in life you would only see if you just stopped and just took a minute.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
tell you what, Emma, it's a wonder this isn't our number one film, how positive we've just been about this one. I will tell you Ben's and then I will tell you mine. Ben's number 10. I don't know if you've got anything to say about this or not, because I don't know how many people have seen it, but he went documentary for number 10 and he has called out George A. Romero's Resident Evil, a documentary which is, I believe, available on YouTube for free now with ads about
Wow.
the George A. Romero Resident Evil film that was on the cards but never ultimately happened. I can't comment on it fully. I've only seen about half of it myself because I refuse to pay for YouTube Premium, and that means I need to have my phone open while I'm looking at it. But really, really interesting. Like, I love these deep dives into films that we almost had and almost got. I'm sure Ben could speak about it with even more passion, but an interesting and well-made documentary about something that almost happened. Incredibly well researched, lots of detail that's gone into that, lots of conversations with those people that would have been involved in it, and obviously a filmmaker who was super passionate about the topic, and I believe in Ben's interview with him, which you can also see on the feed, has had the fortune to meet George A. Romero and speak to him a little bit about it in his history, which inspired him
Oh,
to make the film as
wow.
well.
That's
So
such a cool idea for a documentary.
yeah, I'm super impressed, and it's one of those things, a bit like the Tim Burton Superman film that never happened. You hear these documentaries about it, you think whether it had been for good or ill, I kind of wish that I had the opportunity to see this.
Yeah, I feel like that about Rob Zombie's The Blob, which he decided he wasn't going to make after the poor reception of the Halloween film. And I feel robbed of it.
Yeah,
Rob zombied of
you
it
Rob Zombie, and like,
because,
do you reckon some smart Alec went, "Oh, Blob Zombie," he went, "I'm not doing it now, cancelled."
yeah, over. Well done. That
You've
was you.
ruined it.
Yeah.
That was you. That was make this note. But that guy that stopped that catch at the Chicago Cubs game,
Oh,
hated.
yeah.
My number 10, Emma, was Silent Night, Deadly Night, the 2025 remake of the 1980s film of the same name.
Wow. Is that the one with the
Yeah.
cute guy in it?
Yeah, that's the one with
And
Michael
he's
Myers
like,
Jr. in it from the he we talked about unusual casting. That guy is not born to play uh an awkward, unlikable.
yeah, like he kind of had that everyday guy riz,
Yeah.
where you're like, oh, he's such an everyday guy, but he's all right.
Yeah. When they cast him in Halloween Ends, they made him somehow have all the incel energy of Michael Myers, but yet had a girlfriend throughout the entire movie. In this one, Rohan Campbell, his name is, as Billy Chapman. He is charming, he is sweet, he is conflicted, and there is a scene where he goes to plan to kill someone because, spoilers, he is the murderous embodiment of the spirit of St. Nicholas, Santa Claus himself, who can detect spiritually if someone is naughty or nice. And we get a phenomenal scene where it goes from kill this woman you've been hunting down to kill Nazis, where he axe murders a barn dance full of fascists.
What? Wow. Well, they shouldn't be allowed to dance if they're
Yeah,
fascists.
the world is healing, Emma. It was a spiritual moment for me. My only disappointment about this film is that I was the only person in the cinema on the day I saw it. This should have been rammed. Seeing this with an audience, listen, Fright Fest
Once
lads.
you've seen with a Fright Fest
Yeah.
audience, yeah,
Give me a Fright Fest Christmas. Get this on there.
yeah, yeah, do
Um,
it.
so much fun. There's a whole episode of me talking about it. So actually, I'm going to talk uncharacteristically less because the whole episode I want to focus on you who we don't see so much and films that we haven't done full episodes on. But yeah, Ruby Modine as Pamela as well, a great couple. I was like, is this going to be a great murderous couple for the ages?
Mm.
Is this a new Chucky and Bride of Chucky? It's
Yeah,
so
a new Chucky and Tiff.
yeah, Chucky and Tiffany out there doing it. And like it was, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't already watched it. You know what? It's still cold outside. Get yourself a Christmas movie on. Don't wait until next Christmas. Stick this on. It is a great deal of fun, and it really treads that line. And I'll call up something else which we won't otherwise be talking about. You can have incredible violence, and I know there's a lot of people that look at the Terrifier films and go, "Oh, Art the Clown's a good laugh, isn't he? He does murders on people that don't deserve it." There is, and I struggle to root for a character like that.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy, especially as we get through this movie and we understand the complexities and the motivations, you can get behind this axe wielding maniac and really start to enjoy it and be on his side. And yeah, it was just a great deal of fun. It was just the type of movie I wanted to watch to round out my year, and it's made it to my 10 because of it.
Oh, oh, that's good. I love that for you, and I probably will check that out now because you've bigged it up.
Right,
You've bigged it
thank
up.
you. Like convince you to like absolutely ruin your watch list by the end of
Yeah,
the year.
I'm
Um,
so judgmental though. That's my problem. I can see something, and if the trailer has done it dirty, I'm like, no, dead to me.
Not this.
Next,
Not
yeah.
doing it. Speaking of next, tell me about your number 9, please.
Number 9, Nosferatu, Robert
Okay.
Eggers. Saw that on New Year's Day 2025. So I began my year with a horror film, and as a gothic girly with a love for kind of monsters, um, I loved it. I loved the melodrama of it. I loved the doom and gloom of it. I loved the idea that he was kind of reaching into her mind and she was convulsing. I thought it was great. I liked what's his face? You know, the crazy looking guy that's in everything.
He's a
You
Skarsgård, isn't he?
well, him as well, but Dudar who played the let me just get it. I don't remember anyone's names, and also when you were like, "Oh, give me your top films of the year," I was like, "I've never seen a film in my life."
What films you say?
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, what is that?"
He's on cinemas now.
Willem Dafoe,
Willem Dafoe.
the guy with the face that's in everything, you know? Him.
That's the lad.
I feel like he was loving it. They had real rats, which I always appreciate. I thought the cast was quite compelling, a compelling mix of people. Um, I always like it when people, break into a tomb and make love to their deceased spouses. That's always a top favorite.
Yeah.
That's why I'm looking forward to Wuthering Heights in February, because I'm like, let's get some corpses up in here. Um,
This time it's a ghost.
so yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I love that. I love the moodiness of it. I think that's, and I do kind of feel like it was a horror film for the girlies. And I say girlies in kind of like a sense of the weird girls found were given something of their very own
Yeah, I mean
in that
that's
film.
cool. Like I think this is why we have to have this is why I'm so glad we have guests on for these different takes. I think Ben might have something to say. No, Ben did pick Nosferatu last year, I think, because
Mm.
we recorded after the bells, I think, and he slid it under the door for 2024.
It was a very late release, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think we got it on New Year's Day here. I think we got it on New Year's Day. So as far as the UK is concerned, it is a 2025 film. So
Yeah.
we know that that's in there. I I didn't rate it quite so highly simply because, and that's fine. I'm glad that other people did. I liked it less as an adaptation of the
Yeah.
I liked it less as an adaptation of the text. Beautifully shot. I have not a bad word to say about how beautiful it was and how wonderful it looked. Um, for me, and this is a personal taste thing, I couldn't really get on board with the romance thing. I took it as a bit groomery from the start, and I was like,
Yeah.
I can't side with your side of this love story now, which was converse to my experience with Dracula: A Love Tale, which we'll talk a bit more about later. But
Mm.
as I thought about Nosferatu more, an interpretation of the film, and again, my 2025 read on it is, okay, so it's about an almost untouchable and powerful character who lives life from afar and reaches across the world, poisoning everything he
Yeah,
touches
yeah.
and sucking the life out of everything. It's about billionaires.
But
Okay.
oh wow, it's a yeah. I feel like it was a convergence of two things that don't often play together, and that is the world of camp and the world of goth. I think you get it with Rocky Horror Picture Show, for example,
Hmm.
but there was something quite campy about it in its over the topness and it's kind of like how far-fetched it was at times. Um, but the costuming, the
Yeah.
makeup, the vibe, um, it just gave women like me like something to pick over for a while. Something for us to just feast on.
Well,
Um,
feast away. I'm glad you I'm glad you enjoyed because again, I love that we're allowed to have different takes on things because we talked
mm,
about this before we started recording, in fact, when we talked about certain reactions to TV shows. I think because argument and debate by and large, not everyone has several hours of podcast to discuss these things on. So
yeah.
lots of debate and exchange of opinions is done in, 240
Comment
characters or
sections.
less in comment
Yeah.
sections. And as a result, we were in a terrible position where it's I liked this, and if you didn't like it, you didn't get it. And
Yeah,
and
you've
I
clearly
didn't
got
like
no
this.
taste.
I
Yeah.
and I didn't like this, and if you did like it, then you're an idiot. Like everything is subjective. Like, and I sometimes I think, no, just don't bother responding. But I did respond to someone yesterday who had commented, "Is it fair to criticize a movie for not having much focus on story?" Which my feedback was, yes, of course it is.
Because
You
it's a
can,
story.
yeah, you can criticize it if it makes the film less for you. Likewise, you're allowed to like a film that doesn't have much of a story as well. Skinamarink, gangbusters, loads of people loved it. Narratively, there isn't much there to grab onto.
Right.
Like, you're allowed to criticize something, you
Mm.
know, and I don't have a film example to hand, but you can criticize something for anything that makes you enjoy it
Yeah.
less. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, 7 out of 10, too much water. Like you can have you can say whatever makes you not enjoy something, you're allowed to critique it,
Yeah.
and
No, I
that doesn't
agree.
make your opinion invalid.
I think as you were saying, if you're going into it expecting a Nosferatu, because there was another Nosferatu that came out at the same time that is very faithful to that original film. And I figure if you want that, then there's that for you. But if
Mhm.
you want like gothic melodrama and you want that kind of opulent costuming and you want something that's there for the vibes, you've got that other one.
Yeah. Um, Emma, for Ben's number 9, I hope that you might be able to help me out here because I haven't seen this yet. Ben's number 9 is The Rule of Jenny Penn.
No, I don't know what that is.
So it is good old John Lithgow living in an old people's home with a creepy dolly,
Oh
um,
no.
terrorizing people. It is on Shudder and available now. But sadly, I don't have extensive notes from Ben on what he enjoyed about it so much.
Wait,
But I know it's not the only person's list that it appears on. So
really?
we might have some notes from a guest contributor shortly who can talk about that a little bit.
Well, you know how I feel about horror that's got kind of like rules and there's like little things, so maybe it'll be right up my street.
Well, can't say anything else to that, but it was Ben's number 9, everybody, and it's available on Shudder right now. My number 9. We've talked about this, and I don't know if you're going to ask me to put a pin in it and come back to it later. Final Destination Bloodlines.
Do you know what? I Tipexed it out and replaced it with Nosferatu. So I think if it's not higher in the list, then it's for the taking.
Right, let me see if old Benjamin has it anywhere else.
And he just had it in his. If he put it in his
Yeah,
honorables,
but
then
it's
it
honorable
surely
mention,
it's
so
not.
now is its
Yeah,
highest location. I thought this was just a lot of fun and similar to my number 10 pick. I go to the cinema and I watch a movie because I want to have fun. I want to be thrilled and enjoy the ride along the way. Final Destination has been a dormant franchise for a while now, and I think it came back with some real style with some fresh creative energy behind it when perhaps it got a little tired.
Also, last cinematic appearance of Tony Todd.
Yes, and that moment for me, if you told me at the start of 2025, my biggest emotional reaction would be from an actor who was not well, who knew that he didn't have much time, regardless of how long he had left to live. This was probably going to be his last on-screen appearance, and to be given the space by the creatives behind that film to say what you like in this moment and give your sign off to these horror fans and the horror community and horror fans in general. I think they hold the people that they love and the actors that bring them these scares and these emotional moments, whether as heroes or as villains, they hold them so dearly and so closely. And for him to have the opportunity to share that message with people and then walk off into the sunset and say goodbye to everyone, an emotional moment. I was getting teary in
I'm
the
actually getting
cinema there.
upset now. Yeah.
Um, Phenomenal. And he spoke directly from the heart. He comes out of that film in that case. It's not just the character. That is Tony Todd speaking to everybody
Yeah.
in that film about how unpredictable and precious life is. Elements of the monkey tied into that as well. The tagline of that movie, everybody dies and that's fucked up. And it's about, if there's nothing else to do, you may as well dance and enjoy the time that
Yeah.
you have. And his message was such a moment of beautiful quiet in what is a fantastically explosive, exciting movie. It's fun, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It has those rules. It's established as a franchise, these excellent and wonderful rules that you're always on a knife edge because it can
Mm.
twist them and play with those rules at any given moment. And it was just such a delightful movie. I came out of the cinema excited and I
Yeah.
wanted to, like, you come out and you tell people what your favorite moments of those films
There were
are.
some good kills in that as
Yeah.
well. I particularly liked the degloving by Ring.
Yes.
That really
I
made me like viscerally turn away.
I was a big fan of the bin lorry and the MRI machine.
The MRI machine is something that like I've never even had an MRI. I've never even been near an MRI machine. And even then I was like, oh, I've heard that this could happen. And then like not long after that, something similar to that did happen, didn't it? Someone got pulled in by their neck.
Slept in, yeah.
Yeah. Whoa. The nightmare of that. Yeah, but and all the different ways that you would try and get round the kind of the system of the death's design. I love it when they're actively thinking about what would people watching this be
Try to do
thinking,
to get
try
around
to
them.
do, yeah, just to show you can't. I think only one character in the whole franchise has successfully figured
It's good
out the
old
maths.
Clear Rivers, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was, yeah, in one of them.
Yeah,
But
she's
yeah,
yeah, such a good, and it tied things together so well, like
it
bringing it
really
back to the
did.
very beginning. Incredible. Right, Emma, the next thing we're going to do before we'll give people a little break from our voices. We're going to go some voice notes from a few people. Got three loaded up for you, ready to go. Firstly, director of Screams by the Sea Film Festival, which will be returning once again in 2026. I have Reddy Nikolov, followed by former guest, accidental collaborator for horror musicals, but not deliberate. He's always chosen them. Stu Freeman. And then we are going to finish with Rich and Carly. Rich, you will know from our Nightmare on Elm Street 4 episode, but also filmmaker from shorts It's Really You and Her Love. Carly, his wife and co host on their podcast, one of my favorites of the year. I would say breakout podcast hit of the year for me. So funny. My partner has no taste. Here they are now.
Hello there, gentlemen. Thank you so much for including me. I would love to contribute to this, but I do have to say that every year when all these like best of movies lists start coming out towards the end of the year, I definitely do feel like Lobo being judged due to the fact that I've missed way too many movies. I still haven't seen Together, which I am so sad about. I do want to see it. Anyways, I will 100% contribute, but I might go a little left field. So, my top three movies of 2025 that I've seen. I had so much fun at a small little indie called Portal to Hell. I saw it earlier this year. It has a really good cast. It is really, really well written, and it's funny. It's hilarious, and it's just lovely. It's just really, really lovely. I loved it. What else? What else do I have on top of my list? I had quite a lot of fun watching a short film. Can I do a short film? Something just popped in my head. A movie called Make Me a Pizza. Everybody needs to go find this film when it comes out. It's a lovely. It was in the Independent Horror Society's short film showcase this year. Absolutely fantastic short film. I can't explain it. It's just insane. It's absolutely insane, but in all the best possible ways. And the last one, do you know what? I loved Frankenstein. Frankenstein was a hoot for me. I loved that film. It was just great. I really, really enjoyed it. So I think that's my top 2025. A little left field, I suppose. A little windy, but you've got Frankenstein there for the big box office win, I suppose. But anyways, 2025 was epic for horror, and 2026 looks even better. It's gonna be epic. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are epic, and we love you. And that's a very, very long message. 2 minutes. I'm so sorry. Happy New Year.
Okay, third for me would be Sinners. Just felt like a cult classic. I love the color palette, just all the reds and oranges. It was just really stunning, and the music was incredible. Just loved that movie. Second would be Bring Her Back, just because I could not stop thinking about it, especially that kid like chomping down on everything. It was absolutely grim, and I've showed it to so many people since, because if I had to watch it, so do other people. And first would have to be Weapons. I loved the non-linear storytelling. Gladys was an absolute diva. Like, we need her back. Can't wait for the prequel. Love her. And it just felt like, just even though it had a really silly ending, it was just like non-stop weirdness and revelations. So yeah, absolutely loved that. Special mention to Matugan, because we need more Megan films, Campus Hell, and love those. And also shout out to the horror TV series that we had this year, because I think Alien Earth and Welcome to Derry were both really solid, and I really enjoyed them. So yeah, that'd be my picks.
Hello, lads. A very happy new year to both of you. To my shame, I didn't actually see as many new releases this year as I wanted to. But here is my top three horror films of the year as it stands. I'm with Carly.
Hello.
From My Partner Has No Taste.
I'm his wife as well, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not just from another podcast.
Oh yeah, no, I'm married to you. Okay. So my top three, starting with joint third. Sorry, I've been that person. The Rule of Jenny Penn.
Ghastly. Absolutely ghastly. Freakish. Vile. And I didn't know if I liked it or not.
Okay. And then that's joint with Weapons, which you didn't see.
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Number two, Predator, Killer of Killers.
Ugh, I hate predators.
Okay. There we go. And number one, as if there was ever any doubt, it's 28 years later.
Oh, I loved it. Absolutely brilliant.
And that zombie had a massive schlong.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's why I keep remembering it so fondly.
There you go. I think we should also quickly plug our own podcast.
Let's plug it.
My Partner Has No Taste. If you're a fan of Horror Hangout, it is exactly like Horror Hangout, except one of the hosts is a lady.
That's me, not him.
And we are back. Any spicy takes in there that particularly took your attention, Emma?
One thing I really want to say is that I massively appreciate how many of them said that they hadn't had the chance to see as many horror films as they had wanted to, and you asking them for their top selections made them realize, because I'm right there with. This is actually making me feel even more ashamed and disappointed that I haven't seen Weapons. Um, Even though I told you I was going to watch it before we recorded this, the fact that I said that made me rebel against myself and not watch it.
You've
But
set yourself a
now,
deadline. You got to duck
yeah,
out of
yeah, and I
that.
was like, oh, I don't fancy that. But now everyone coming in here, and Sinners as well, saying how much they liked it, I'm gonna have to check both of those films out, I think.
But
I
in
feel
many
even
ways,
more ashamed.
I'm so glad that you haven't done them in a way because that has opened up a little bit of space because I do think they've been really well received, both of them. So to have you not seen them, that's probably given you a little bit more purity and a little bit more freedom on your list for these really big dominant films haven't come in like wrecking balls and took the top of the charts there. So
That's true.
in many ways, it's allowed us to have a bit more diversity in the list. So
And it's
here
nice
for it.
because now we've got more info on Ben's film that
Yeah,
he really liked.
yeah. How do you
Rancid,
describe it?
disgusting,
Rancid
yeah,
horror.
horrible.
You can see why he likes it so much.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably for all the same reasons why he liked it that she didn't.
I mean, it might not be as ordered in Ben's list, but as we brought it up now, we may as well finish our thoughts on films that we missed out on this year. Should
Yeah.
is there anything else that you feel that
Oh
you
my God, so many films that I had like really had it. The Ugly Stepsister,
Oh, it's good.
because body horror and women, I think, go together like peanut butter and jam. I think to be a woman is to live in perpetual body horror. The stuff that happens in a woman's body, it's one thing after another, mate. And so I think that sounded really, really compelling. It's just I had to download Shudder to get it, and I don't have Shudder at the moment because it's one of those subscriptions that I keep canceling to save money and then
Yeah,
rebuying again. So I'm gonna have to get it back for this. As I said, Weapons together. Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I don't play the games, but I watch people on TikTok live stream themselves playing the games. So I'm very intimately aware of
acquainted with that. Yeah,
the FNAF universe. And I think that's still in the cinema, so I've got a
you've
chance
still
to
got a
pull that one
chance.
back. And also Dead Lover, which I've been
Oh,
told I would very much enjoy, directed by Grace Glowicki, I think. It was pitched to me basically by a friend saying, this sounds like something that you'd be really into. And I looked it up and I was like, digging up corpses? I was like, go on then. I mean, we've mentioned it before, necrophilia in this very episode. So I was like,
Nosferatu, he's all
oh,
about it.
yeah, I was like, oh, that sounds like something I could get into. The film, not the
Not the practice.
defilement of corpses. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, quite a lot of stuff to catch up on. I had made a big list and then, as I said, deliberately didn't watch any of them.
deliberately do. You have taken like the cool place from me, who studiously just blitzed movies over
Yeah, I had a
the week.
cold though. I was planning. I was like, oh, over the Christmas break, I'll have so much time off, and then I instantly got ill and didn't want to do anything.
You just sleep
So
all day. Yeah,
yeah, just lay face down on the floor and just pray for death is what
yeah.
mostly I was doing.
In a way, it's its own treat for Christmas, I suppose.
What
Um,
about you? What did
I've
you miss out
seen
on?
I've seen a
Because you've
fair
seen
amount this year.
everything, and
No,
even what you haven't seen, you end up with a screener.
I tell you what has broken my heart this year, and it was because I was away with work for the same weekend as Fright Fest Halloween was on, which does mean
Oh
I've
yes, of
not yet
course.
seen Primate. The good folks at the company have been in touch, and we might be able to see. I think there will be a press screening in Scotland before the actual release at the end of January, so I might be able to catch it a little early.
I
But
really rate that film as
yeah,
well. I do
so
rate it.
Primate is something that I know everyone hasn't had the chance to see it, so I'm in a very privileged position to say, "Oh, I'm sad that I haven't had the chance to see it early." But
Well,
I am
I will
jealous.
say, actually, when I was watching that, I recognized one of the characters in it, and that's because he does audio erotica for an app that I have downloaded and I follow his account. And I recognized him from his voice.
Oh,
I was like,
we'll have to
oh
have a
my God,
listen.
that's that guy. I really should thank him. I wish he'd been there. I would have bought him a beer.
I'll
Thanks.
look out for him at
Thanks for
the.
all the good
I'll
times.
look out for him. This send me
Yeah,
his name.
he's very talented. His name's Ben. Um, so when you're watching that and you see him, you'll know.
Well,
Also, the monkey was called Ben. I'm not talking about the monkey
you're talking
because
about the
the
monkey in Primate is called Ben.
yeah, he's got an audio erotica account and he makes spicy audios. Um, no, I thought that film was good.
Yeah,
And I think you will like it.
I think I will too. I'm sad I haven't seen that yet, but otherwise, I think I've done pretty damn well this year. Pretty good.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my main one. Shall we? I think what's the other next one on our list? We're going to talk very quickly about best first watches or rediscoveries that didn't come out this year. Have you got anything on this little list here?
I actually do. The first one, I think I did bring it up when I was on the show to do the Glasgow roundup, and that was Raw by, what is it, Julia Ducournau.
We did that for
Raw.
this year as well. Raw was very fun. I had not seen it till
Yes.
this year.
I got tickets to a free Ducorno. Yeah. I tried to go and pick up my festival pass and they weren't open, but they were giving away free tickets to a screening of that. And I didn't know what it was. And I was like, well, I've got nothing but time. So I went in there, made friends with the people sitting next to me, and I was like, what's this about? And they were like, oh, it's about eating people. And I was like, sign me up.
Yeah.
And I just loved it. I thought it was so visceral and intimate and kind of really primal.
Mhm.
I thought it was the visual storytelling was beautiful. The casting was so great. I just loved it. It was so because I didn't go in with any expectations. I didn't even know what I was going to be watching. I just really it was one of my highlights of the festival, and it wasn't even part really of the festival. I just thought it was great. I loved it so much. Also, I've been on a real David Dastmalchian vibe this year. I'm just deeply in love with him, and I like to do a The Last Voyage of the Demeter and Dracula kind of two-parter screener. And then I decided to kind of go off and watch a bunch of his other stuff. So I was late to the party, but I did watch Late Night with the Devil this year
Okay.
for the first time ever, just for him, just to see David.
And he's good. And he should lead more things. I know he gets like
He's
character actor roles. He's a lead.
Yes, he's a lead character. He was so good in that. And that film was really, I liked the claustrophobicness of it.
Mhm.
I enjoyed that. And I thought he was so wonderful in it. And also The Boogeyman, which he's also in very
Oh, very
briefly.
briefly. Best thing in it, I'd
Yeah.
say.
I love it when he's like a little nervous creep. I'm like, oh, look at that nervous creep. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
have you
just
checked out
into, I love his
Rosario? Have
face. Huh?
you checked out Rosario?
No, should I
He's in
see
that
that?
as a neighbor who has borrowed a slow cooker. Or rather, whose slow cooker has
Cute.
been borrowed.
Oh my God. I just love his face. I just love it. I will watch that man's face just until the end of time. So yeah, those are my three. Raw, Late Night with the Devil, and The Boogeyman.
I might piggyback on you and say how much I enjoyed Raw when we did it for an episode this year. My other discovery for the year, a film that hadn't it'd been on my radar for so long. It had been on the eternal watch list for a while, and I think it's genre specific enough that we can mention on a horror podcast. Was Upgrade.
Oh my God. I love that film. The
So
physical
good.
comedy in it and the way that he moves, you really do believe that he's not in possession of his own body.
Yeah. And also, I know it's a few years back now, but again, with the acceleration of everything AI and technology and all these other things that we've been talking about increasingly ad nauseum for the last year or so, such a strong, on point story for this time about what it is to be human, what it is to be alive, what
Mm.
roles machines have in this as well. Um, very like I feel it all feels scarily plausible.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was simultaneously, and I've probably said this on the podcast, but I will say it again. It is the Cyberpunk and the Venom movie we all deserved.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that actually. Yeah, because there's something to be said for where does your human autonomy end, and then the other, and in the mission of assisting you as a person, how far is too far? I don't think that they made his upgrade with Asimov's laws of robotics in place, to be
No,
honest.
not at all.
I didn't see any of those safeguards in place.
No. Well, if you haven't seen either of any of those films that we've mentioned, get on and watch them. Treat yourselves,
I'm sure they
everybody.
have. I think that people have seen that.
Shall we do our eight and sevens, Emma?
Let's go for it. At 8, I have Apopheniacs.
Hang on, we may be able to team up on this one. Let me just see, because
Oh, have you got it for 8 as well? Because that would be so good.
it is my number 8.
Shut the fuck up! I'm high-fiving you, double.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love narratives with disparate characters where it all interweaves. I find it so compelling to see the overlapping relationship. It's the Love Actually we all deserved.
Yeah, it is the Love Actually we all deserved. Carly, if you're listening to this, um, watch Apopheniacs.
Because there is fucking
Yes,
in a hot
there's
tub
everything in this
with
movie.
cosplay.
Yeah, with cosplay and weird props and a really interesting use again for an AI in a movie. It shows the human damage
Yeah.
that you can do when you can't trust what you see on a video.
Yeah, but it's so pertinent to what's happening now. AI is so good at spoofing people, and I just think even when they must have been making it, it was their ideas were ahead of their time, and they were so on the money that by the time their film came out, that stuff was already beginning to happen. And it is frightening in a real world sense that you can just piss someone off at the coffee shop and they can
Get you
take you
cancelled for being a
down.
racist.
Yeah, it's so, it could happen. And that's the way that people, it's a real indictment of how people behave online as well. The dogpiling and yeah.
Yeah, I had such a good time with this movie, and then so directed by Chris Mars Palero, and we also were lucky enough to spend a bit of time with both Chris and Aaron Holiday, who is Duke in the film, the fellow that does all those naughty things with that
He was
AI.
so good. He was giving Buffalo Bill energy
Yeah,
there, I think.
yeah, like I just think such a great interweave story. Absolutely. I think for the outcomes and for the we get some very, very violent and gory scenes later on as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely belongs in the horror genre. I think phenomenal for me.
It's horror on so many levels, though, isn't
Yeah,
it, as well? It got so creative with the concept, and I think it had the fortune, I guess, to follow on from several other AI adjacent films that we had seen at that festival that hadn't managed to break out of those scripts. I can't prove it, but I feel like they had been written by people that didn't know much about AI and the
yes,
capabilities and the projection of where it could go, whereas Apopheniacs really explored that and then added in some of the kind of splatter comedy, kind of more other horror elements in there as well. So you're getting more of a full package.
yeah. Loved it. Absolutely fully on board with everything they did in Apopheniacs. When we met them and when we spoke with them, didn't have a distributor.
What the
Didn't have a distributor
fuck?
yet. It's must have been picked up by now. I might do some cheeky googling to see if there's
We
been an
need to
update on
know
that we can
because,
share
like,
live. What I will do is, though, I will, before we do that, if you can maybe vogue a little bit about Ben's number 8, which was on my honorable mentions list, unless you need to put a pin in it because it's higher on yours. Companion is Ben's number 8.
It's higher on mine.
Well, put a pause in that, Ben. We will be back to that shortly. Emma, tell me about your number 7.
Number 7, The Monkey. Directed by Oz Perkins. I thought it was batshit fucking crazy.
It's so good.
Really, but I think that Theo James, I don't think I've ever seen him in a role like this. He ate that up, ate that shit up. Really unhinged, erratic, passionate, obsessive. I just thought it was fantastic, and I like the concept as well. It's based on a book, isn't it? Is it based on a
Yeah,
book? Yeah.
it's a Stephen King short, I think.
Yeah. Um, I love that idea. Um, and I think that it could have been like done quite seriously, and the fact that it's just an absolute chaotic shit show, the energy of it, I don't think I've experienced anything quite like that. And it was contained in a really clever way, that energy. I found it really compelling.
Yeah.
I just
The
thought it was fucking insane.
From the leads to the choice of like small parts, the cameos you get from Adam Scott at the beginning, you have a little slither of Elijah Wood in there as well.
Yes, he loves a cameo, doesn't he,
Yeah.
that guy? He's in everything.
Really, really sharp dialogue, really fun, really high energy. And again,
It's fast paced as well,
yeah,
isn't it? You're just getting bam, 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 like from every angle. It's like it sustains you.
yeah, it does. Yeah, really, really a big fan of the monkey.
Yeah,
Lots of
yeah,
fun.
I was.
It was in my honorable mentions list. Um, let's do Ben's number 7 next. Unless you need him to wait, Emma, don't let him go on if it's time. Ben would like to raise for number 7 the Toxic Avenger, if he may.
I don't have that any higher. No.
No, in that case, we shall continue as neither do I. I think the Toxic Avenger was, well, we know it had been a real uphill struggle to actually see this release. It's a film that's been completed for a couple of years. And from what I understand, the delays are really held back by the normies.
Yeah.
We're wondering if you're going to get a mainstream audience to engage with it.
I don't think you need to be
No.
honest, because it's got its own built-in fan base, but also as somebody who hasn't engaged with any of the IP before this, I was perfectly happy with
Yeah.
that. I thought it had that comic vibe, the Scott Pilgrim quick cuts and
Yeah.
interesting choices, and it felt very comic booky, and it was genuinely so funny. Like there was one particular scene that had me just laughing, just I just carried on. It got me in a little like ever never-ending cycle of just giggling about that. Yeah.
I thought it was fun. I thought it was like my issues maybe the other way. I enjoy a trauma movie, and I don't know what. Obviously, I know that more conservative audiences don't grow up on trauma movies, but if anything, I felt it was already quite a safe bet. Now, whether it had been cut for a general release further, that we saw a version that had already been further sanitized, I can't tell you. But for me, my only complaint about it, I loved the energy. I thought it was funny. I thought it was a real good feeling story. We do need again stories of 2025. We do need heroes that ultimately stand up to
Mm.
corporate corruption and the little guy, and for all of those, for the environment, all the things that the Toxic Avenger has always stood for. I did feel that it was already out traumaed by Jimmy and Stiggs that existed at the same way. That felt more like a trauma movie, and it's partially the level of comic on-screen violence that you see, but it is secondarily the the use of computer generated effects. There's one scene where the Toxic Avenger fights the evil band of assassins. Um, and it's funny and it's delivered well, but it did actually take me aback for a second. I was like, did you CGI that instead of pulling this guy's head off in a big squishy model? Bearing in mind, just before we went, the last Toxic Avenger movie I saw was Toxic Avenger 2, where the opening scene is just a limo full of goons coming out and him dispatching them in weird and wonderful ways, which includes screwing one guy up into a ball and then dunking him through a basketball hoop.
Wow, that's showmanship.
Yeah. So I felt it already had tamed it up a little bit, but that aside, still very enjoyable. I understand if they're going to make something for a modern cinema going audience, you have to make some concessions for that. And there are plenty of other schlocky practical effects, the Psycho Gormans of the world. And actually, recently, as I
I
watched
love
this week,
Psycho Gorman.
Deathstalker. Have you seen that yet?
No.
Great.
Am I going to
Not
be into that if I like
not really a
Psycho
horror
Gorman?
movie, but imagine a proper swords and sandals affair with Psycho Gorman practical gore, a resurrection of a 1980s adventure, almost softcore porn kind of action adventure type thing for a modern era with Psycho Gorman sensibilities is brilliant. Back to the question at hand, though.
Yeah.
Toxic Avenger, I cannot come off it without talking about. We met her in person. She was very nice. Louisa Guerrera, who unfairly on the Wikipedia page doesn't really feature highly enough in the casting. Her
She's
name should
done
be
most
next
of
to
the work
her name
though.
should be next to Peter Dinklage as the lead
Yeah.
because the two people bring that character to life. Like a
Yeah.
huge physical performance and
She's
so
so
lovely.
nice as well. She's the fucking coolest.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Yeah.
someone who had spent all their time training in combat and stunt work, like the role she was born to play, phenomenal in the role.
Yeah. And you can tell that all the rest of the cast are having the best time as
Yeah.
well. You
Yeah.
can really tell they're eating it up. So,
Loved it. My number 7, unless you need me to stop, Emma, do tell me, was Together.
no, go right ahead.
I loved Together. Australian director Michael Shanks. In a year when we've had Bone Temple, Sexy Times about relationships and imbalance in relationships, we had Keeper. Didn't work for me quite as much. Had Together, which for me was so on point for I think the exploration of relationships and imbalance in these relationships and people. They reach that point in their relationship when they are together, and you'll know this. I mean, we've talked about it off mic. With when you're a couple, like having couple friends is different. People who know both of you and they know you as a pair. And I think when you are serious in a relationship and you're of that age, typically in your early to mid 20s, where there is a part of you that is like, oh, but I'm like this, and these are the things I like, and the compromises you make and the choices you make, because doing everything exactly as you would like it to be and going your own way and only satisfying yourself is less important to you, or you have to make a decision if it is more or less important to you than things that you take on from the other person in your relationship, or the things that you change about yourself to be a successful couple because you want to be together, and your willingness to be with that person is greater than, well, this is the way I've always done things. I don't think I've seen it explored as directly or as deeply or in a way that really struck a chord with me quite so much as it has been in this movie. And it does so with a great deal of physical body horror, really well put together. It's funny at the same time. It is concerning at the same time. They are terrified at the same time. There is the unknowable nature about it as well. I just really, really dug this movie for its deeper themes as well as everything it presented on screen for us to look at and to marvel and feast our eyes upon. Michael Shanks is a fairly new director. It's one of his first feature films, and I think he put together something incredible with Together It's Worth Everyone Seeing. And the very fact that Alison Brie and Dave Franco are a real couple in real life, this is probably the kiss of death for Keeper, because
Yeah.
I didn't have to believe from their acting that they were a couple and they had chemistry together and they were, intimately comfortable with each other, because they really are. They're married.
Yeah. I
Like
did read as well that they said that you probably couldn't play those characters unless you were actually like together or in a relationship or knew the other person really, really well.
yeah. Yeah, it was yeah, they play against each other so well, and it goes beyond visually. Oh yeah, you look like you would be together. They act like they are. They are so comfortable in each other's presence, and the dialogue does wonders for it as well. Just really sharply put together movie, and it's one of those, again, the things that you will see on my top 10 list are things that I have continued to think about and have dwelled with me, and I have thought about when I was laying awake at night throughout the course of the year, and this has been one of them. Genuinely, between that and Bone Lake, it really made me even think about the relationships that I have had in the past and the choices of where you are today. Michael Shanks, you've probably made me a better person and a better husband. Good on you, Mike.
Hmm. High praise indeed. My
Yeah.
God.
So they are our eights and sevens.
Sevens. Yeah.
Where would we be next? Let me get the correct app up. We should be talking now, according to Ben's very well put together schedule. Given the time, Emma, let's do these ones quite quickly. Do you want to give a quick shout out? We won't dive into it. Let's do together the best horror in TV and other media if you want anything to give a shout to.
I have noted down, I've got noted down Stranger Things, but I'm not completely at the end of where I should be by now. And the reception has been mixed, so that could go either way. But to be fair, I've had a fun time with it. I'm enjoying it. I think that that's very nice. I also wanted to shout out music. Perverts by Ethel Cain came out at the beginning of the year. Horrific stuff. Slow chord dirge really feels oppressive and grimy, quite a departure from her normal style. I'm going to say it's very horror adjacent. She does Southern Gothic normally, and this felt like a very dark exploration. Could easily be the soundtrack to a horror film. And then I'm going to finish off with a book, actually.
Oh,
Um,
please.
Tourist Season by Brienne Weaver. If any of your listeners are big into spicy books that are horror books, her books always have a really hot guy, a really hot girl. They both do murders, they hook up, they're covering up each other's murders, they get involved in convoluted plots. It's a really good time for people that like visceral gore explained in detail in a book, but then afterwards people fuck. It's a sexy good time, sharp wit, dry humor, black humor, gross. I loved it. I really did. I had a good time with it. It's a Halloween themed as well.
Oh, well, let's get stuck in on that. What's that title again, Emma? I've got my pen out.
Have you actually?
I have, really. Look, here it is.
Are you it's smut though. Are you okay? You're down to clown?
Listen, look at these grey hairs,
All
Em.
right,
We're
no,
an
I
adult
believe you. I
here.
believe
We're
you.
good to
Okay,
go.
okay. Tourist Season
Tourist Season is written down.
by Brienne Weaver.
Right, Brienne.
Yeah.
Let's see what you
Do
got.
it.
Yeah, because tell you what, Emma, I'm such a slow reader because typically I only really get a chance to sit down and read
These are
in
easy to
bed.
digest. They're
Yeah.
digestible. They're fun. They're smutty. There's murders. It's a good time.
Good I'm looking forward.
I want to believe that you'll read this because that would really tickle me. So
Well,
if you do read it, let me know because I'd love to.
yeah, text you. I can't sleep now. And what have you done?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Oh dear. Right, let me give you Ben's ones. Also, his actually best discoveries new. No, that's okay. Ben also feels that he's missed out this year on Primates. We'll get there, Ben. Anaconda, which just came out just between the Christmas and New Year period, so he hasn't got that yet.
the
And
gooch of the year.
the Gooch of the Year. Ben also has been big into, maybe it's the season, I Loved a Santa movie. Ben has got a hankering for the Lord in this holy time of year, and he's a bit disappointed that he's not seen The Carpenter's Son, which is a Nick Cage helmed horror movie about
Really
Jesus.
good. Do you know what? Something for everyone, isn't
There
there?
is for everyone there. Um, Ben's best horror TV he highlighted was Alien Earth, which I have not started yet, so can give no commentary on, but I know everyone loves that little octopus eye that goes on you and turns you into a baddie. And it's Welcome to Derry, which I believe we're going to talk about in detail next week. Emma, have you seen it, Welcome to Derry?
I've not, but I'm in the Fangoria Discord group and there's a whole channel about it, and I don't feel I can go in that channel because I've not seen anything to do with this TV series.
What I will say is that it's good. I think we said on a recent episode that I think, in terms of discourse, it probably ate Stranger Things lunch in the first
Really
period of time.
now?
Yeah, because I feel
All
like
right.
when I've seen the discourse on Stranger Things pick up now that Derry is finished and they're doing their final episodes. I felt like when I was following, threads and Instagram and everything was bloody Pennywise, and while he was coming out there, and I got to tell you, good series. They didn't overuse it. Bill Skarsgård and Pennywise himself didn't really rock up until the back half of the series. They used sparingly, really interesting. The connections to other Stephen King's books are tastefully done, but if you're
Perfect.
going to have a broader universe, like, you're not going to find a better author, I don't think, to have, like, because the connections are built into the stories already. And like I say, just nice little bits if you haven't seen it, Emma, like this, there is a
I
prisoner
need
who
to
won't
get into
confess and they
that.
start. So if you don't play ball and plead guilty, we're going to send you to Shawshank. And he's like, not Shawshank. Like, little bit, like subtly done. Really, really cool. Yeah, we'll talk about that more in upcoming
Mm.
episodes. Ben also had a big lot of time for Silent Hill F this year. It's won lots of Game of the Year awards at the Horror Game Awards and probably at the General Gaming Awards this year. It's picked up a lot of hot praise. And he also got a boss fight books on Silent Hill 2 that he was a huge fan of. I have been so poor on other media. I've had lots of time to buy other games, but not necessarily finish them that much. I don't feel there's
Mm.
very much in other media I can really shout out. I will join Ben on calling out how much I enjoyed Welcome to Derry, but it's been a real films year for me, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm.
that's what we have for those topics. Right. I think now, Emma, in change to the schedules a little bit. Let's now do our 6 to 4, and then we'll do a top
Six.
three like our other guests did, and we'll play along nicely with them like that.
Do you want me to boff, or do you want to do me and then you and then Ben and
Let's
then
let's go round like that because I think we get into
we
the
might have
sharp
some
end now. There might be a
overlaps?
couple of
Yeah.
overlaps here. So hit me with your number 6 first, if you please.
Number 6 is Companion.
Companion, I do not have it higher. Does Ben? No, I think he had it as his mentions, didn't he?
So it belongs to
It
me.
belongs to you. Yes, it was Ben's number 8, so it is all you, Emma. It's time to talk about Companion.
Good. I think that this is another one where they're kind of exploring people's relationships with AI and with robots before they knew that that was going to become a thing, because now we're in a place in real life where people are having relationships, sexual relationships with chatbots and
Yeah.
stuff.
Isn't it
And
the second highest use of electricity in the world or something depressing?
it's it's cuckoo bananas out here, let me tell you. And I think that with the loneliness epidemic, not just in men, but in society as a whole, it's so much easier to have a partner that you can just make. And I think that the way they explored that was very, very interesting. The controlling aspect of it, the also kind of making you feel like, is that wrong? That these things are, and the whole moral dilemma around it and the fight for autonomy, and I just found it really, it was such an interesting story, and I thought it was incredibly well acted. I think that old what's his chops, whose name I've forgotten,
Jack Quaid?
Jack Quaid, he's so good at being that nice guy that's like, he's a nice guy. Um He's just the everyman nice guy. He's got that role on lock. But when he turns it and he's sinister, um, yeah, I was into it. I liked how they explored it, the cruelness of it in all its many different ways that it can be cruel. Um, I thought it was very darkly funny as well, and I liked kind of the kitschy, almost retro aspect to it. I just thought it was neat, and I think it raises a lot of questions that are even more pertinent now than they were when the film came
Mhm.
out, even at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I really liked Companion again. Different year, top five,
Yeah,
easy, easy. Sophie Thatcher is gonna be a genre all-timer. I think she
she
is
is.
better and better in everything that we see her in. She was already incredible in Heretic. This is
Yes.
another phenomenal performance from her. We will be, mark my words, much like I think we've said it a lot at the start of this year, and a lot of these big films come out. There are some of the filmmakers, but also some of the talent in front of the camera now that
Yeah. Wasn't
when
she in Boogeyman as well?
I think she was,
One of
yes,
my first thingies. I'm fairly sure she was in that, wasn't she? She's the
yeah,
main girl. Yeah, that's her.
yeah,
That's her face.
incredible, incredible work. I think we will see the people in front of and behind the cameras in a lot of the movies this year.
Mm.
Whoever inherits this podcast from us in the future, Emma, they'll be talking about these people being all-time
Yeah.
stars. We just celebrated Barbara Crampton's birthday was the other day, and she has been a screen icon for over 30 years. I genuinely think that unless they do something terrible, in which case we never liked them, but we will be talking about performances that these people have brought to the screen or have
Mm.
performed in for years to come. They're great,
When
really, really
she's
great
holding her
people.
hand over that candle flame and she's just silently crying, I just was like, I'll rip Jack Quaid apart with my bare hands
Yeah,
for you. I'll
yeah,
kill him dead. Do you want me to kill him, babes? I'll kill him dead.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Because, and you're
I'll fucking
right.
kill him dead, babes.
His
Tap me in,
performance.
tap me in.
Come on, you're reaching. His performance in that as well. The very fact that he can play pretty much the same character, but with a slight twist. You either love him because he's an underdog and he needs protecting and looking after and
He's
just to
so
stand up
good
for
at
himself
it.
to being horrible.
Yeah. So good at it. And also because the robots are so sophisticated, you do have that added element of like we don't know who is and who isn't,
Yeah, yeah.
which I quite like.
I'm gonna have to pull up some details on Ben's number six because I have not seen it. Chain Reactions was
Oh, what
Ben's
is
number six,
that?
which is a documentary by Alexandra O'Philippe, an exploration of the legacy of Toby Hooper's classic, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
For a
I'm not,
minute, I thought you were going to say an exploration of Toby Carvery, and I was like, Why not?
If the meat's a bit tough, you'll need a chainsaw. But as far as I'm aware, always tender.
Yeah, always tender at the Toby, mate.
Yeah, I can't really comment that. I know that Ben loved it. Shall I read his letterbox review?
Yeah, go on then.
He says, loved this, a documentary that charts the impact of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with insight, with a wide variety of voices, less of a making of and more of an exploration of the film's cultural impact. I remember him talking about this on the episode, actually. It's so much about people who love the movie and their experience
Yeah.
with it and their lasting memories of it.
Karen Kusama's in it.
There you go.
And Stephen King, by the look of that.
Strap in for this one, Emma. My number 6 is Dracula, A Love Tale.
Well,
Here
well. We
go.
meet again, Dracula, A Love Tale.
I loved it, possibly for the reasons that you didn't. I will give
Well, I
my
don't know. I've got the notes here, actually.
I'll give my more flippant review. For me, my as an adaptation of the book, it's one thing, but for me, it was Nosferatu, but with 100% more consent involved.
Yeah,
They bloody loved each other.
but also I'm going to point out the CGI gargoyles. What was that? Why?
My second favorite bit of the film because I loved those little guys.
They were cute. Like, don't get me wrong.
That's what I liked about them. They were just these cool little stone lads, and I like them. They all, I guess spoilers for a very old book, didn't have gargoyles in it, but at the end, when the curse is broken, they're just little lads. They get to go
They
home.
just turn into children and walk away. And like, I will say that lead actress was so unbelievably beautiful that
Well, let
I
me pull her
would.
name. This is Zoe Blucidel.
She had iPhone face.
Yeah, she definitely does look like she lives now. It's the eyebrows, I think.
Yeah, but she was like, I would basically refuse to die if I was dating her. I'd be like, no, I'm not. Actually, I'm not dying.
Yeah.
I'm in love with her.
Yes, and I think that is what I loved. I loved the opening with how we got to spend some time, and I get it. It's very
But it
largely
was very
similar beats to
cliche,
Bram
like we're
Stoker's
under a
Dracula.
sheet.
We're
Like
under a
if
sheet,
there's
and I'll
we're
teach you to shoot a
giggling,
gun in the house.
yeah, we're gonna shoot guns in the house. We're gonna feed each other with our hands. We're gonna giggle under a sheet. If there's ever a couple giggling under a sheet, one of them's gonna die.
Yeah,
Those are the rules of film. If you're
yeah.
feeding each other and you're blissfully happy and you're fucking against a wardrobe and you're giggling under a sheet,
Just when your lads have to come and go, no, you to the
tragedy
war.
is imminent if that's the case.
That guy literally had to drag him out to go to the war because the war was
But like
there.
fair though, if I was dating her and we were hooking up and someone was like, "But we need you to come and fight a war," I'd be like, "Maybe tomorrow." Like
They're at the
war is
door.
like way less fun than what I'm up to in this moment
See,
with
Emma, I
her.
reckon I can talk you around on this film.
I don't know, like the end was fair enough, but then he had that magical perfume that made everyone obsessed with him.
I also kind of loved that. I loved how funny it was. I was like, I
Wasn't
love
there a dance like routine as
yes.
well?
I loved it when he went round the world and we saw him in various cute outfits in the various countries around the world. We went and found all
Doing
the stuff,
this,
put his perfume on.
dabbing his perfume.
Everyone gets like magnetized in. Basically, Dracula invented Lynx Africa. He went
Yeah, and I say this as a red-blooded woman. Lynx Africa, it works. It just that I don't know the science behind it. It might maybe it's pheromone based. I don't know.
What
But
happened was 400 years hence, Emma, the good people at Lynx traveled the world finding all the best fragrances
yeah.
and they put them all in there so they could do a fun scene where everyone does like a choreographed dance. I loved the Jonathan Harker in it when he's got him and he's making him tell the story. Like, I like how he's a bit wet.
He was constantly moist for the whole film. Caleb Landry Jones had a sheen of something. And I'm like, is he hot? Is he cold? Is it just always slightly raining wherever he is? Like, why is he damp? What's happening?
Things were damp then. It was the it was the era.
And he
Um,
kept jumping out of that window over and over again.
I loved how it was over. I love the over the topness from the Braveheart style battle with burning barrels and not CGI, just a load of dudes that you put in a
Fire.
costume and you made run across a field shouting at each other.
Yeah.
Loved it. I love like the white snow when they're running across the field and they get caught in the bear traps and the
There were
tragedy.
so many bear traps out there.
There was no there was no medieval Princess Diana because they were landmines effectively.
Yeah.
Get the car out there. Um, they I loved that opening bit. I loved the sort of humorous asides to it. I love the lovely day they have out at the fair when he comes to Paris.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's cheeky and he's running around and doing a scare on
Oh,
it.
come here,
Yeah.
we're in the ghost house. Don't
Yeah.
worry, this way. Um, and I loved again, it's the Dracula story we know. We don't get so much as Christopher Waltz said, it's me, Van Helsing. He's just credited as priest. But I
Yeah.
love it
Oh,
how
he was very good.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I
He was
loved
very
everything
good.
about it. And spoilers, you've mentioned it already. We're going to do an episode next month. Ashley's coming on to talk about it because how much she loves it. And we've said we'd do an episode on it. We'll talk about it in full there. But what I love is, as a brief mention, in our final confrontation there, it isn't as complicated as you're a horrible vampire who's stolen this woman away. I'm a good priest, a Van Helsing who's going to kill you. There is a conversation to be had here, and they settle it with words and with
Mm.
reasoning, and ultimately he makes a kind choice because of their relationship and because
Yeah.
of the and I
Yeah.
I
It was
stood to my feet,
powerful.
Emma, and I was like the Grinch when he was like brilliant. I had quite a time.
The bit where the priest says, "Let her return to life and you return to God." I was like, I'm gonna write that down. And for a while I had that quote kind of floating around in this notebook and I was like, what the fuck is that from? But yeah, the reason I liked it so much in the moment was because of how powerful that was, where he was like, surrender yourself to me, to the stake. And like, yeah, the end was, I was bereft.
And I love that as well. So old Jonathan Harker comes in. Is like, oh,
He
thank
he just
goodness,
has to
Mina,
turn around and get out again, doesn't he? Because his
because it's
wife
like,
is
oh,
there, like,
you're gutted that Dracula is dead, not because like you're not like, oh, thank goodness, not in that magic spell
yeah,
anymore. You're like,
yeah.
oh, he was the like she mourns his
Mm,
passing. Like, and it
yeah.
is, yeah, I thought it was a very cool script. So what I would ask of you, Emma, because you have a physical copy of this film now, give those cute little gargoyle lads another chance. They could be the baby Yoda of this generation. They could be all over everywhere. This shelf behind me, what can you see there? That you can see a tiger I had when I was a little baby. Beautiful little tiger. A little gargoyle sitting next to him. I could ask him to do stuff for us would be just the job.
Very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can see why the film is. I mean, because I obviously had Nosferatu and I liked it for its melodrama and stuff. So for me to turn around and be like, this was fucking like the extra, it feels a bit contrarian of me. I just think that first half was so slow and because I just went into it thinking I'm gonna love this because it's gonna be like Frankenstein. And that's not what that film was.
Maybe because of
I
the
played myself.
you have played yourself. I think it just shows the tapestry of enjoyment, and for me, this probably paints my colours to the mast as much as they need to be. I would say second strongest adaptation of the Dracula text, in my opinion, just behind Dracula Dead and Loving It, which will remain my favorite for all time. Leslie
Yeah.
Nielsen is the perfect Dracula.
I mean, it's layered, multi-layered, that
Yeah.
interpretation. It's deep and nuanced.
I particularly love the bit where Dracula gets busted dancing with Mina in the mirror and he doesn't have a reflection and he runs out of the party and Renfield runs after him and goes, Master, Master. And everyone looks at him and goes, I mean, Mister, Mister. What a time. Emma, tell me, if you will, about your number 5 choice, please.
I think you're going to be shocked that my number 5 isn't actually closer to the number 1 spot.
Okay.
Because it's Deathgasm 2, Gormageddon.
I haven't seen this yet, so doesn't have the opportunity to be higher. Add that to my list of things I'd wish I'd seen already and tell me about it.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed it because I mean I'm a fan of metal exploitation horror anyway, even, you know, the worst of them. I love it. But this, I think, did such a fantastic job of picking up the threads realistically of where those characters would have been had that happened tonally, because Jason Lee Howden's gone off and made other things and stuff. And from what I remember of his sentiment at, you know, nearer the time, he was kind of like, oh well, you know, it was fine. And I don't think he realized how much of an appetite there was in the fandom for it. And now we've got a game, we've got graphic novels and stuff. And to crowdfund a sequel is impressive in of itself. And then to have it be so the vibes seamlessly follow along from, like, what was it, 2015 that the first one came out? I think it was. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, you
ages
gotta
ago.
be it.
Yeah, and to have all of the actors come back, and it just felt like a really seamless continuation. The humor was still 14-year-old metalhead boy toilet humor, like weird. There's like multiple castrations in the film, which, as a female horror fan, there are never enough castrations for my taste. Women get butchered alive and it's all very pornographic, but you never get dicks. I want to see some dicks get cut off. And Jason gave that to me plentifully. And I like to think that's where my money went. I paid for those dicks.
You paid for those castrations.
Yeah, I paid for one of those castrations.
What I love is that we've had messages direct to directors today. I've thanked Michael Shanks for making me a better husband, and you're like, thanks for chopping off all
Thanks
those
to
dicks.
Jason for cutting off some dicks, because we were well overdue some dicks off, quite frankly. There was really good cameos in it from Matt Heafy from Trivium, who did the soundtrack, which was so cool because Trivium was featured quite prominently in the first film through like posters and records and stuff. So it's like really is for fans of horror and like metal. It really is like for almost, it's for all the fans by the fans, to be fair. So Matt Heafy got a little cameo in there. Guar got a cameo, which is great. They are fucking insane. They deserved a spot in that film. Yeah, I just really I really did love it. I really did. I thought it was fantastic. But I think it is a film that's for its people.
Yeah.
I think that you could enjoy it as a non-metalhead, but so much of the textual reference material is put there very deliberately for metal fans in jokes. Just from the posters and from the stuff, you can tell what kind of a horror fan and the way they are about their band shirts and stuff. Yeah, I loved it. And I was so glad to have contributed financially towards that film, and even more happy that my name's in the fucking credits.
Yeah, you and me both. With
Yeah.
you sent me a lovely picture live
Yeah,
from
I did.
the
I
cinema.
did.
I've got the the blessing of having quite a long and easy to spot name.
Yeah, you really do. And, you know, being an Andy, you were like right at the
Yeah,
beginning.
your attention span was still maxed out at that time.
Yeah, whereas I was like quite far down.
Not too far though.
Even as an E, still quite far down.
Imagine if your name had been Wilma for ages.
I can't imagine being called Wilma.
A few people can, I imagine. Maybe it's due back though, because we've already had like the olden days names come back, and the Stone Age names will come back eventually, I imagine. And Wilma and Betty, I'll be right back.
Is Wilma a true Stone Age name?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Bam bam.
Yeah, that's my number 5.
Great choice. A great choice.
It's
Ben's
only
number
that
5.
everything from there was so much stronger.
Yeah.
That's the only
Oh,
reason.
we're going to see these very soon. Ben's number 5 was Sinners. Ben's going to have to hold his bloody horses, because I'll come to that in a little while. My number 5 was Weapons. I'm going to have to hold my horses, because we're going to be coming to that in a little bit. So we're back to you, Emma, with your 4, if you please.
Number 4, Affection.
Affection. I had
Affection.
almost forgotten you asked me to hold on this one.
Yes.
So glad that it's so high on your list, because I thought this was such a good film. But
I
it's your
did.
pick. Tell me about it.
I enjoyed how much they were able to do with such a restricted kind of location. But I liked that. I liked how contained it was. And I like the unreliable narrator aspect of it. When this woman wakes up and she completely loses her shit in the middle of the night, goes down, is threatening her husband with a poker, and everyone's like, calm down, you have a disease, not a disease. You have like
A memory disease.
a memory disease, where you forget your life, your family. Here's us in all these pictures, here's you. And she is like adamant, no, like I'm not called blah blah blah, my name is Sarah or whatever, like this isn't me, this isn't my life. And the whole time, yeah, you really don't know what to believe, because things crop up and she's like, that's not right. And I felt that it was so clever. I just like to see fresh idea, and I suppose I'm going to say it's fresh ideas, and then there's going to be like a million films that are just like it.
But
But
I
I
haven't seen
thought,
them, so in the bin with them. I thought it was a good and exciting new,
yeah, it was a cool
a good
idea.
sci-fi idea. And I like, because it hasn't had, I don't know actually, I'll have to look. Has it had a general release yet?
Yeah, it was still quite new when because it was at Fright Fest Halloween
Yeah,
that
so we
it
saw it at Fright
premiered.
Fest Halloween. Based on the amount of cast that is in there, it is not had a great deal of release yet. So no
Still time
premiere.
for it.
Yeah, we've had premieres at film festivals in the US. I don't see it's had any general
Mm,
releases according to its letterboxed just yet. And actually, while I'm here, I'll underline the point we should have checked earlier. Apopheniacs, I don't see a general release day for yet either.
that's
So the two films
criminal.
which criminal. I know deals might be happening in the background, but we need
Mm.
these on the cinemas
I
very soon.
agree. Because Affection had such a good twist to it. Usually, like when you watch a lot of films, like you can figure out, just through the semiotics of filmmaking, what they're trying to get you to notice and look at. And then from there, you can kind of get from A to B. If you're an active watcher, you can figure it out. But I didn't manage to, like, I didn't clock that until it was on me. And I was like, oh my God. And then the director was saying, what was it? BT Meta was saying that there's lots of kind of little Easter eggs hidden throughout. And I was watching with a friend, and she pointed out a fair few things, and I was like, oh my God, actually, when you clock those, you can figure out much more quickly what's going on. But I love that they've thought about it to all the way down to that level of detail.
And I totally agree with you. Blindsided by it, and I don't think I'm a fool. I'm no, you know, I'm no
I'm
no
no dumbass.
no rube. Like I see these things coming. I talk about things being Chekhov's things all the time, because it's such 101 filmmaking. Not in a bad way. Tropes become popular because they work and they're fun.
Mm.
But like I was blindsided by where the story went. I was guessing and second guessing myself over what it was going to be. Such a delightful surprise. And Jessica Roth, incredible. We're so used to, I mean, she was,
Another scream queen in
yeah,
the making for
I mean,
sure.
she was phenomenal. I really like Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You.
Yeah,
I
same.
think that, but the role she plays in this is so different.
Challenging. Yeah, I
So
think
different.
it would have been incredibly difficult to play someone who feels like someone else on the inside
Yeah.
as well, like the inner conflict that you'd have to convey.
Yeah, Jessica Roth is an all-timer, and the very fact that she is so good in a comedic role in what we've seen her before, I think
Mm.
it's a real challenge as an actor. If you're mostly known for doing something as a comedy, it's a bit like when you see Bradley Walsh in Law and Order UK. It's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. Yeah, it really takes you out.
But
Yeah.
she plays it so convincingly that I was none the wiser until I looked her up and was like, no, it is like it's yeah, performance is incredible. I'm so glad it was so high on your list because
Mm.
very selfishly we get a good reason to talk about it.
But
I
also
really
I
liked it.
think it's worth it to take the time to celebrate original material because there are so many horror franchises that are getting into like, double digits of where they're at. And, they're fun to revisit, but I wish that there could be more investment in original stories and like cool, inventive ideas that
This
really
is what I want to
challenge
see.
you.
Yeah, this is what I want to see more investment in, more wonderful surprises like this.
Hmm.
Ben's number 4. I don't know if you need him to wait at all, Emma, but he has pulled up 28 years later.
No, you are free to talk on his behalf.
Yeah, I ended up making this as an honorable mention, which is not a dose of shade about that film. I just thought about others, at least 10 others more. I think phenomenally made, incredibly well crafted, good to see. I know that part of the delay in these, annoyingly for accuracy's sake, not quite a 28 years delay, but long enough. Um, the fact that it was such a delay for the creators, Danny Boyle and so on, had control of it to be able to make it under their own terms, and then have put this out. I think an incredibly beautifully shot, an incredibly well um, developed and realized world. Some great performances in play there as well. Particularly like Ray Fiennes' character, a really different portrayal, particularly versus Aaron Taylor Johnson as the boy's father in the story. Like different portrayals of sort of masculine role models that this
Mm.
young boy growing up in a very dangerous world is encountering, and the influences in his life, not only from these male role models that take a very active role, but his mother, Jodie Comer, who is suffering from an illness and is, not always fully there. So he takes on quite a protective role of his mother on a number of occasions. So there are some beautiful messages in that story. Um, and there's some wonderfully shot stuff. It's an incredibly creative team. For me personally, it maybe suffered in comparison to its original, which I just love the scrappiness and the fact that it doesn't look
Yeah.
quite so clean as this does. Like you watch 28 Days Later, and there is a very visual style, which I think is lightning in a bottle, and you couldn't capture again.
Also, it fits the context in which the film takes place as well, so it makes it feel so much more impactful because the verisimilitude, that's not the right word for this moment, but it felt like the right one to reach for. It added to the realness of it, that it
Yeah.
would be handheld, scrappy,
Yeah.
like
And we have with this one some really great stylistic choices, some really great tense moments, like the piece when they're when they're going across the causeway and the water's coming in, and then there's a big scary because they have got super zombies in this now. The
Well, you've got to
alphas.
like find a way to
Yeah.
plus it
But
up, haven't you?
I've just realized that 28 years later has done the same, roughly in roughly the same period of time as Pokemon games, where now there's a lot more fast-paced action. You'll sometimes meet an alpha with glowing eyes and is really hard. And they've done the
Yeah.
same in this one. They have these alpha zombies, lots of nudity on screen as well, which I'm a little disappointed that I'm hearing with the Bone Temple. Lots of the zombies have just found clothes because I don't know why.
That's a shame.
Yeah, like I think there's a
If
great
you're dead, be naked.
Yeah.
Like, when are you going to get the chance?
there were some really interesting things in this film. Maybe talking about it, I've treated it too harshly, and I maybe should have bumped it up a little bit. But I'm thinking I had to react on instinct on what was chosen. A beautiful film, and as much as I was a little bit anxious about the fact that we're going into subtitled names sequels coming in just a few weeks now with the Bone Temple. It is one of the films I'm most looking forward to in the new year. It looks like a lot of fun. And Ben very rightly made it his number 4 pick. My number 4 pick, before we get into our top threes, Emma, was another Fright Fest movie. Did I have to pause and say, do I count as a horror movie? I feel it does. It was Redux.
I have that at number 3.
Oh, well, I tell you what. Hold it just a second. We'll go into it with our top threes in just a minute. Before we do that, though, before we do our top threes, you are up to date as well, right? You've got up to your number 4 is covered, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a
Perfect.
lot of crossing out on this bit of paper. Did I type it up? No. I wrote it by hand. So
Like a
naturally.
true artisan of the craft. Well done. Um, Before we go into our top threes, shall we quickly just go through some more of our written correspondence that we have received? I
Yes.
believe I have sent you a couple as well. Have they appeared on your new phone?
Yes, I have them.
Right, wonderful. Who do you have first? If you want to read your first one, then I will go from there.
Sarah of Horror.
Do you want to do Sarah of Horrors top 3, please, if you could?
Sarah of Horror has, in from 3 to 1, gone Primate at 3, The Ugly Stepsister at 2, and Weapons at number 1.
There you go. A
I
good
need to
choice.
watch The Ugly Stepsister.
The Ugly Stepsister, I think you're going to be impressed. I think you're going to enjoy it. I will begin with one of our filmmaking friends. We've heard from Stuart Spark of Dark Rift Horror. His top films of the year. My favourite that I saw in cinemas this year were Cinemas, which was a stunning film, Heart Eyes, which was just an absolute blast, and Heretic, tense, super interesting tale with a cracking performance from Hugh Grant. Honourable horror adjacent mentions go to The Companion and Predator Badlands, which was super fun. That's what Stuart has to say. Who do you have next?
I have Kim Morrison.
Good
And
old Kim.
Kim has said that didn't get to the cinema as much as I wanted either. So that's a
2025, innit?
recurring theme. 3 to 1, we're going 3, I Know What You Did Last Summer. 2, Sinners. 1, Together.
Oh, Together. Maybe it's made her a better partner as well.
Well, he's
Excellent work.
hoping.
I'm going to go to the other half of that filmmaking couple.
Go on.
Stuart's partner and star of films, including How to Kill Monsters, and of course, Dead Reset. That should have been my pick for horror games of the year. Dead Reset's phenomenal. Play it, everybody. Lindsay Crane. Lindsay has to say, my favourites in the cinema were Sinners, which was an incredible film with an awesome soundtrack. Don't disagree with you, Lindsay. We'll talk about that in a minute. Final Destination, purely because of how insane it was. We were laughing the whole way through. Heart Eyes has to be one of her favorites of the year overall. She loves slasher movies, and it was so brilliantly done. We haven't talked about Heart Eyes again, down to the strength of the year.
No.
Josh
Yeah.
Rubin knows comedy. He knows great timing. I think it treads slasher with all of those romantic comedy tropes so effortlessly. It's really
I've
well.
heard good things about that. That's another one I should definitely check out.
Who do you have next, Emma?
I have Neil Fraser.
Yeah, what's Neil, poster designer extraordinaire, have to say?
Um, a lot of horror this year, which is always great to see, but Sinners was by far the best film this year. Final Destination Bloodlines was just all out fun and really took me back to the fun of the first two films. And Bring Her Back was also a phenomenal film. Honourable Mention to 28 Years Later and Dangerous Animals. 2026 looked like it'll be even more packed with horror, and I'm all for it. Neil didn't do a peace sign. I'm just adding flavour.
Oh, good old Neil. I have next. Let's have a look who I will go for next on this list. Do you have Ryan Hollinger on your list? Otherwise, I will read. And
No, I don't.
Ryan, straight to the point. He gets in there. Hey! Exclamation mark. No need to shout, Ryan. We're only here. But he begins. Number 3, The Monkey. Great choice.
Great
Number
choice.
2, Weapons. Again, strong performance from Weapons this year. Number 1, Bring Her Back.
That sounded way too gnarly for my taste. That film.
We'll be talking about that in a minute. Who do you have next?
I have the honour and privilege of reading Cat Hughes
Oh,
and her one. Cat's kept it short and sweet, 2 lines. Busy woman, that cat. Hey,
it is.
my
She
3
knows.
are Dangerous Animals, The Ugly Stepsister, and The Long Walk.
Strong choices. Nothing to complain about there. We'll be
And
talking
look,
about those in a
if
minute, I think.
if she's saying The Ugly Stepsister, then I really have shat the bed on that one.
I think you're going to love it. I think it's really phenomenal. Everything that you said about what you are looking for. I mean, I can't really comment as a man. My greatest body horror moment is, oh no, I have to shave quite often, and sometimes I get hair in the sink, and it's difficult to clean out.
Oh
But
yeah, you're not gushing blood for days on end, just
oh,
like the elevator scene in the fucking Shining, just
doesn't
every day.
happen.
Just
If that does happen to me, it's
it's a
get yourself
bad
to a
time.
hospital. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
be worried if that happens to
I
you.
will jump in and read Asha Chan's top ones of the year. She came in number 3, 28 years later. She joined us for that episode. Number 2, Sinners. Number 1, Weapons.
Weapons and Sinners are the 2 to beat this
2 to
year,
beat, I'd
Emma.
say. Yep.
I've got Stacey's Pop Culture Parlor. I've
Stacey, what
never
has Stacey got for us?
Stacey says, number 3, Heart Eyes, a genuine joy to watch as Ruben clearly loves both slasher movies and rom-coms, making a really fun love letter to both. 2, Bring Her Back. I mean, we discussed this extensively, but
Stacey joined us for Bring Her Back.
this is one of the most heart-wrenching horrors I've ever seen. And number 1, Nosferatu. Just flipping art, innit?
That's how
I
she says
agree
it.
with Stacey. I agree with Stacey. That's what I said. For the
But
girls, for the girls.
do you agree with planned guest? We haven't actually got around to getting her on, but Danny Thompson, obviously a film star and a Scream Queen of her own right, also the host of the Scream Queens, or Scream Princess podcast. Her top 3 of 2025 were Final Destination, Bloodlines, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and this is a rare surge coming up in the written correspondence, Emma, Heart Eyes again.
Heart Eyes. I need to get on that.
Do you have any left? Do you have any people
No,
left?
I'm all tapped out.
Right, I have one more
Or
then.
kept the
Obviously, an
lion's
odd
share for
number. Got the
yourself, did
lion's
you?
share, I did. Gene Dolders has been on. Gene joined us this year as well, and he has to share. I'm basing this on movies that I only saw at the cinema and not at home.
Set
Purist,
rules.
Gene.
Set
You set the
rules, yeah.
rules. Like like Final Destination. He knows you got to set some rules. You got to stick to them.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, some of these rules have come in. Number 3, you went with Dangerous Animals again. A late surge from Dangerous Animals. Um, Number 2, The Monkey, consistently popular this year. Number 1, dark horse for a lot of people. Straight on the top of your watch list, I'd say, Emma. Together.
Together. Togetherness. Yeah.
Let me have a quick scroll through to make sure there is no one that I have left out in the cold. No, we have them all. So all that remains then is for. Actually, you know what? We want to finish on a high note. We want to get to our 3, 2, 1s and get out of there. So a brief pause, and we say, what are you looking forward to next year? What's on your 2026 hit list?
Scream 7. I know that I've been saying, oh, make new things, make new things. I'm a Scream girl. I'm a Scream girl through and through. I was there for the original, albeit far too young to have watched that when I did. Scream 7. Kevin Williamson. I am a girl of a certain age. Give me Kevin Williamson. That's what I want. That's what I crave. I'm gonna gobble this shit up. And that's that on that. I'm also looking forward to Ready or Not 2. I know I said horror franchise. I know what I said, but that was me from like an hour ago. This is me now. And I want to watch Samara Weaving. Her scream, she's got the best scream.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically, she also was in Scream as well.
Arguably underused in Scream. I know that there's a
Yeah,
certain.
but she was the Drew Barrymore, wasn't
Yeah,
she?
I know. Yeah, I know there's a certain magic of Scream of getting someone in and then dispatching them early,
Yeah,
but I'd have loved to see her a little bit longer.
I would have, but I think that you know you're going to get all that joy in Ready or Not too.
I certainly
I
am.
feel like. So I'm looking forward to that. And also, it's not, I don't think it's actually confirmed that it's coming out next year, but it's in development, and that's the Backrooms.
Oh, okay, that looks good actually. Looks really
I
interesting.
I love a horror game and I will watch streamers play them, but I myself, I don't have the nerve. Like I feel emotions in a big way. I'm in there, you know. I'm right there as if it was my
Amongst it.
emotion. Yeah, so I can't play horror games because my body doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know the fucking difference. And that looks like such a compelling, cool idea, especially given the success of the Five Nights at Freddy's adaptations and how that's gone. This is another like horror game with like a really cool cult following. I feel like this could be so cool. And James Wan's connected to it, isn't he? So I feel
Yeah.
like,
I think that's usually a good mark of quality for something new coming out. He
yeah,
tends to pick
yeah,
his projects very well.
yeah. So if that does come out next year, I will be watching that.
Okay. Ben's things he's looking forward to. We already mentioned it. We'll mention it again. Um, 28 years later, the Bone Temple. He's ready to get himself to the Bone Temple. He's also looking forward to, because of course he is, Return to Silent Hill. It's out very soon. It's out in January. He's also looking forward to Ready Not 2, which you just discussed. And
Mm.
his other one he is calling out is, of course, well, there's one we share, but he has called out The Mummy. Brendan Fraser, and all those people, all those
The
sexy
bisexual
people.
awakening. Yeah.
Oh,
Wall
brief
to wall
aside,
hotties in that film.
Emma, as it's come up, I think you're a person who I want the take up on this, with the Mummy returning, with
Yeah.
all the Nosferatu thirst, with sexy Jacob Elordi Frankenstein, who I imagine we're going to be talking about in a minute. Fuck, marry, kill. Nosferatu, sexy Frankenstein, Imhotep the Mummy, please.
Okay, so I'm going to marry the creature,
Okay.
I think. I think he could do with the love of a good woman,
Mhm.
albeit an unhinged one. I'm gonna kill Nosferatu. He's been around long enough, okay? A man
It's leg
shouldn't be
day.
allowed to have that much power. He's harassing women in their dreams. He's a bit of a sex pest. Um, I think I could kill him, and that means that I will, of course, be doing the nasty with the mummy. And if he brings his girlfriend, that would be fine.
A Nux and a Mun.
Yeah, that would be all right. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
What about now? You have to answer though. Now.
Oh, I
Oh,
think
you weren't prepared for that, were
no.
you? The
I'm just trying to be
tables have been turned.
I'm just trying to be consistent to how I answered in the Frankenstein episode. I don't want
No,
to
just ignore consistent. What does your heart tell you in the
kill
moment?
Nosferatu, bad bloke.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Straight
exactly.
in the bin. Don't be such a groomer. I think I went
Don't be such a groomer.
yeah, I think there is a debate to be had either way, but I think I went the opposite way. I think I would shag Frankenstein's monster because it's the relationship. He's learning a lot. He's not his final form of himself. He's got a lot to learn. He needs to get out in the world. He's not ready to settle down, but you could have some cherished
Oh,
moments with him when you both learn something
tenderness.
about yourself,
Yeah.
and you could give him a good experience to take out into the world when he decides who he
Wow.
wants to be. The mummy, however, I would say
He's a provider.
independently wealthy, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
He's got magic powers. That's
Magic
helpful.
powers, loyalty.
Yeah.
Like I get it, he was going behind the pharaoh's back, but I'm not
He was
into
a usurper. Yeah.
yeah. But do I necessarily agree with the idea of a monarchy? No. So actually, we share a lot of
Yeah.
values, and you know that
And
if he
that's
was
the
into you,
foundation of a good relationship. And you learn that by watching together.
yeah, and he would stick with you through thick and thin. If I had my soul imprisoned in the underworld, he
Yeah.
would move quite literally heaven and earth to bring me back.
Oh, you're really making me like reconsider my choices. Just because I was thinking selfishly that I'd want to be with the creature. I wouldn't lock that down, you know?
Yeah.
I'd tr put a ring on it.
Much like nice Dracula from A Love Tale, I've allowed him to choose his eternal life.
Oh, we're learning so that horror films teach us about humanity.
They've taught us a lot this year, I think, in the
Yeah.
year of our Lord 2025.
Yeah, even though we objectified them and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And to be honest, I still feel bad at the end of The Mummy Returns when Anuk-Cinnamon like runs away and leaves him, whereas Evie is pulling she's pulling Brendan Fraser out of the crevasse. His girlfriend, who he did so much to try and bring back, runs
Yeah.
away and leaves him, and his little heart is broken, and he just falls away into the abyss.
I mean, you would, wouldn't you?
Maybe he'll get a new girlfriend when he comes back this time.
We can hope for him, can't we?
Maybe it'll be like Kong Godzilla, and like they will punch for a bit and then be mates.
I'd like that
Except Rick
because a
O'Connell.
third, even bigger enemy will appear.
Yes, the Scorpion
Yeah.
King.
Yeah. I mean, that's exciting. I didn't even know that was coming out, so.
Yeah, it's on the way. My one, Ben does mention this as well. My big lookout for the year, and we've all said, Emma, give us new stuff. Wow, wow, wow. But I'm so excited for Evil Dead Burn. More Evil Dead, please.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Those are the things I'm looking forward to. So now, Emma, all that's left for us to do is our big top three reveals. Do you want to go with your number three
Yeah, I
first?
already ruined it, didn't I? I did a spoiler of mine.
That's
It's Redux,
okay.
Redux.
That's okay.
Redux number
Now we
three.
get to
Yeah.
talk about it. Was it your
Now we get to
best? Was it your
talk.
favorite Fright Fest film, or have you got more?
I have one more Fright Fest film that's managed to get even further up the list.
We'll
Yeah.
come to that later then.
Yeah.
Tell me about Redux for right now.
I very much enjoyed an interdimensional narrative that didn't feel the need to explain to us how they have the
Mhm.
ability to go between timelines. Not
Yeah,
important.
yeah.
It's
In
just part of the plot. It's not, they don't get into the weeds of like, oh, in 1994, someone designed, like, fuck that. That's not important. The fact of the matter is, she can.
yeah,
And what would you do if you'd suffered a tragic loss? You know, daughter was horribly murdered, so she's going through every fucking timeline, killing the killer again and again and again and again to get, some sense of closure, but also to try and find a timeline where her daughter is still alive. And you just think, that it's so, the driving force is so believable. And then when she meets up with that young girl, their dynamic is so great.
is
Passes the
incredible.
Bechdel test, which is always nice to see. Two women characters not talking about men. Fabulous. Although the killer is a man, but
And they do talk about killing him, but they're. I think that should be an exception to the rule. If two women characters are talking to each other about murdering a guy, surely that's permissible.
that should be a workaround.
And
But
they do talk
also,
about other stuff.
yeah, true, they do. But also how they kind of find their new way forward with each other. But also when that girl, she kind of looks up to the older woman, she's like, wow, you're so badass, you do all
Mhm.
this and you will do that. And then when she's confronted with the reality of what that would look like, it's horrible. And she's shocked and she, you know, even coming into timelines where she herself hasn't been killed yet or has just been killed. And like, yeah, I thought it was so interesting. It was really neat, and I appreciated not being treated like an idiot.
Yeah.
Like,
I totally agree. Like in
yeah,
a post Marvel whatever phase it's in world, you need to no longer need to explain multiverses in the same way that post the Matrix you don't need to explain what an EMP does.
yeah,
Like they just are things that you know, they're taken as read, have some respect for the people, and just you give a simple explanation and you can get on with
yeah. It's not important.
an incredible story. And again, we've talked about fitting into the horror genre. It's about a serial killer and getting a revenge on the serial killer who, even with all of the technological advantages and knowledge he has, is a dangerous guy.
Yeah, and she comes close. Like, that's what I quite like, is that you don't get the sense that they have plot armor.
Yeah,
Like they could die. Like that film had the vibe that it could rip the rug out from under you if it chose to.
yeah. I came away blown away by this movie. And again, just while you were saying your bit, Emma, took a look. Not a general release yet.
Shut up! I'm sorry, but these distribution companies need to get their heads out of their asses because there's so much good stuff out there.
Like several of the absolutely most like gripping, enthralling things that need to be seen at the cinema movies that we've talked about from this year's list haven't
Yeah.
seen a general release yet. Sorry, listeners, if you don't get the opportunity to go to some of these festivals. One, financially, if it works for you, and travel, if it works for you, I would recommend it. It's such a tremendous way to see these films early. But secondly, like do please look out for these films, catch them if you can, and let's make sure more of these
Mm.
films get supported to appear at cinemas because they are honestly some of the most original, exciting storytelling I've seen in years, and it's so good to see them featuring highly on lists. And tell you what, Emma, good on us for listing them up there.
Good on us for having exquisite taste and for being generous enough to share.
Share with
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah. Ben's number three. If you can open the correct picture, Ben's number three. I think you might be telling him to wait a minute, Emma, is Frankenstein.
He's gonna have to hold the phone on that one.
Hang on just a second there, Ben. Number three, which I do believe it will be acceptable to talk about now because I don't think you've seen it yet and it was in Ben's list already. My number three is Sinners.
Please do go ahead.
We've had a lot of people list it in their lists this year. It was very strong. My top three, I have shuffled around constantly for weeks, the days running up to it. I switched my last three around one last time just as I started this Zoom call.
Oh my God.
Sinners, they're such strong movies, all of them. Like, Ryan Coogler basically paid attention to every single detail in this film. And again, we've done a whole episode on that. You can listen to us pick this film to the bone and go through every single moment of it, beat by beat, scene by scene, full spoilers. But so exquisitely crafted, such a powerful story, such a character driven story about two guys who've had their dealings with crime, have been soldiers in war, are living at a time of segregation where, you look at the kind of no-see-ums era as well, where slavery isn't a thing, but there is still people working for land, for landowners and so on. There is still segregation within communities as well. And you see these two brothers who have come into some money and they've come into some power because of their connections and their backgrounds, and they're making a place which is for them and people like them to have what is effectively an incredible night, and then what will be an incredible place for them to be with family and friends and have a good time and have a place that is their own. And we see encountered there this really interesting take on a vampire that works like a hive mind. And for people who get involved in it, they actually take a great deal of comfort in it because it connects them not only to their other vampires around them, but through the history of the ancestors and things that they knew as well. The musical scenes in that are absolutely transcendent, and them showing the past, the present, and the future through music, and the importance of music to all of the characters in there, and how the ties of these human characters are not all that dissimilar to those of the vampires as well. Tremendous performances, exquisitely designed like costume work. Haley Steinfeld is immense in this movie. She is incredible, but so many people do great performances. There are small parts, there are big parts in it. This is huge. Obviously, Michael B. Jordan is incredible, playing dual roles. Twin brothers playing this role, but you can still tell them apart. They have their own characters and their own things that are going on. Ben's criticism of Sinners, I think, does hold up when he says that it feels that there's so much in there that he wanted to see more of, and then it feels that when the action begins, we do kind of race to the end game quickly. I probably would have accepted a longer runtime of this movie. Equally, you could drop me a 10-part series which gives me an hour on each one of these groups of characters that we just see in passing. I say that, Ryan Coogler, if you're listening, you you make whatever else you want to in this world, which includes nothing, because it stands alone so wonderfully. And I think we should normalize leaving mysteries and leaving things.
Yeah.
And also, a little delve into the filmmaking as well. I know Ryan Coogler has made a rare whole deal in Hollywood where he said, "Hey, after a certain number of years, the rights to this transfer back to me, and I own them
Yeah.
again. So you own this." And I know there's all sorts of pearl clutching and like, "Oh, you can't do that, can you?" Less of an issue when a different type of person does this, but I think a tremendous move for him as a creator, um, and a wonderful tour de force. And for a person who works in sustainability in their day job, great work in saving all those costumes that would have been wasted from a Blade movie that didn't happen, bringing them in to do a period vampire piece. Incredible work.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah, tremendous. Again, has spent, again, be very clear how close this top three is for me. That film has spent many a moment at my number one slot for the year.
Oh,
It
sick.
ends on three. What's
So
your
what are
number
we?
two?
My number two is The Last Sacrifice the documentary by Rupert
Oh,
Russell. I wasn't lying when I said I thoroughly, heartily enjoyed that at Fright Fest Glasgow. I thought it was so interesting to take a true crime, potentially sacrificial killing from the UK's real history and approach it from all the many angles that have been kind of explored over the years with real historical kind of archival footage and stuff, and talking heads from people that were really there. As someone who does practice, the occult and like witchcraft in its many forms, it was so neat to get to see interviews and like footage and stuff of like the Alexandrian witches and like Gerald Gardner, the people that founded modern day Wicca and like ceremonial magic in the UK, and all of these really cool like delving into Highgate Cemetery and the kind of stuff that went on there. I just thought it was so fucking neat. I thought it was cool. I thought it was funny. I thought it was interesting. I can always tell that something has been a hit at Fright Fest when I come out of the cinema thinking, oh, I can't wait to show like my husband this, or I can't wait. I know someone who would love this, and I can't wait to show it to them. And I did feel like that about this film. I thought it was cool. I liked it a lot.
nothing to add on that, Emma. Not just because it's getting close to midnight, but because it is. I loved that documentary. It was such an interesting watch, and I don't have the same understanding and connections to the subject matter that you do, but just as watching it as an observer of things, like it did for me, really hit the mark of a good documentary in the fact that it did irreparable damage to my watch list. We were lucky enough to catch a screener of it ahead of Fright Fest. I went and sat in that cinema and watched it again because a bit like you, I watched it and I was like, oh god, yeah, and like I knew there was an extra bit that was not on the screen of the story we get at the end that I definitely wanted to catch as well.
Yeah.
And I came out with that same excitement from just watching it on my laptop that I wanted to go in the cinema and watch it again because I knew you were there and I wanted to talk to you about it afterwards. And yeah,
Yes.
it was such
It
a
did a really good
tremendously
job of
interesting.
telling a story
Yeah,
as well. Like you were carried away with the story of it and all the various kind of theories that they left no stone unturned, I feel like in that.
yeah, really, really thorough. And like you say, storytelling within your documentary as
Storytelling.
well. Because you can have just here are several talking heads, and here it is chronologically what happened. But it is such an
Yeah.
interesting weaving of those stories. Yeah, tremendous documentary. Seek it out if you can, everybody. It is a great one. I'm not even going to say Ben's number two because it's my number one. So we
Oh, so
will,
with spoilers. Okay.
yeah. So said with said with spoilers. Yeah, let me just check Ben's number. Oh, I think he may like based on his review at the time. I think he might have made an oversight here that he might be kicking himself over, but
Uh-oh.
maybe not. We'll give him the credit because I think he might have at least mentioned it in his honourable mentions had he thought of it. My number two, Emma, is it's another Stephen King adaptation. Is The Long Walk.
Oh, I didn't see that and I don't know much about it, so I'm interested to
Well,
hear why you love it.
again, folks, whole episode of us going through that with Mal alongside us as well. A We saw a clip of it. Were you in the screening at Fright Fest where they showed the first 20 minutes of the film, or was that one you weren't in for?
No, I don't think so.
Um, I was hooked by this 20 minutes, and it is just the opening 20 minutes of the movie that we saw at the previews. And I went from having never heard about the film to being hotly anticipating this coming out. And again, the themes that we are talking about here are so on point for where we are in the world today. It is clearly, well, the film is set, not necessarily timed, but it was written in the 70s. So obviously echoes of the Vietnam War, but America has been financially crippled by a long running conflict, and to basically overlook the to keep the public in line, the fact it has a military government overseen by Mark Hamill as this major character. There is an annual sports competition which has been announced by the rulers, which is called the Long Walk, where voluntarily, but as the characters in the story go into, there is no one that doesn't volunteer because it is frowned upon if you don't do it. Uh, all of the boys of a certain age volunteer for something called the Long Walk, which is a competition where a boy from every state meets at a start line, and you must walk at 4 miles an hour constantly until there is only one of you left.
What happens to the people that
If you
can't?
slow down once, you get a warning. If you slow down twice, you get a second warning. And then your warning's clear after an hour of constant walking at speed. Actually, I think 4 miles an hour is the speed in the book. It's 3 miles an hour in the film. If you fall below speed 3 times in a row, you are shot and killed.
What the fuck?
It
Oh my
is
God.
as bleak as it sounds, but at the same time, such an exploration of character and relationships between characters. Um, it's pretty much an entire male cast, so no one's passing a Bechdel test here. But
Sure.
um, yeah, it's the story as is written. Um, but the relationships they go through and the exploration of male relationships and masculinity and bonding and love between male characters as well. For people who don't know each other as the film begins, they are all strangers. Um, and the emotional weight of this film, both where it sits politically, where, for a book written 30 odd years ago, actually no, I forget that I don't live in 2000, almost 50 years ago now. It
Oh
is
my God.
like it is, an incredibly powerful story. I was left shaken by watching it. It's one of those films where the credits roll and you sit there for a moment in absolute silence, really trying to take in and comprehend what you have just watched.
Yeah.
Again, it has spent some time at number one on on my list here. A couple of really, really strong performances in there. So Cooper Hoffman plays our lead incredibly, incredibly powerfully, but even that performance is kind of knocked into the shadows by David Johnson, a British actor, does a lot of stage work, but you also may have seen him in Alien Romulus in the last couple of years as well as Andy the Nice Robot Brother. But his performance in this is spectacular. I've talked about people whose names you will think of as all timers. The emotional weight that David Johnson is able to deliver, the warmth that he's able to bring to a character as well, is tremendous. It is a film which I have thought about regularly since
Mm.
since
Yeah.
the time that I saw it, and is going to stay with me for a long time. I think it's an incredible piece of cinema.
Holy shit.
Only
That's
remains, though, Emma, we have our number one picks. Would you like to go first and reveal your
I
big
will.
winner for the year?
And I said this was my number one as soon as the credits rolled. I was like, this is the best film I've seen all year. And then I went back and watched it again a few days later when my husband wasn't there because I knew that he wouldn't suffer to watch it a second time in such close proximity to the first screening, but I had to. And then I dug out my A-level copy of the book because it is, of course, Frankenstein.
Yes.
I went back for a rewatch and a reread, and I haven't touched that book since I did my A-levels because I
I
thought
love the
it was
novel.
boring.
The
Oh,
novel is so tremendous. I read it. I was older than an A-level student when I read it. Maybe
yeah.
that's the.
I think you do need to be a bit older because it's quite heavy going, the prose, isn't it? Like
Although completely insanely was written by Mary Shelley when she was the age of an A-level student. Although you grew up faster than
creating a genre in the process. Like what a queen, what a diva
while
we have.
17 years old.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, Frankenstein just, it was so visually arresting. And I love that the camera is always at a certain height. it's kind of always down around here and it's always in motion, and it creates such a lovely viewing experience when the camera is always moving and weaving and kind of going around. I liked all the circle motifs everywhere. There's so much symbology and kind of recurring motifs and themes in Del Toro's work. I love to go through with a really vigilant eye after you've had the first kind of watch to pick up on all the little kind of hints and things that he just imbues in his films, and the color, the lighting, the costuming. I just thought it was so lovely. Jacob Elordi's performance was so I I wasn't expecting anything like what he did. Um, the physicality was really unusual, and I just couldn't tear my eyes off of him. The way that he made it so that each limb was moved differently, because he's made of different people.
Yeah.
It was balletic almost in its ways at times. And the passion of Oscar Isaacs and his just driven, single-mindedness. And I just thought, I just loved it. I love Mia Goth, but I didn't so much like her for this just because I felt like she ran all her sentence together. Her line delivery felt very kind of garbled and rushed, but visually she was so good in that role, and the way that she would I do you know what? I just loved it. I just really did love
So
it.
good. Yeah. I for my sins, I'm having to mark that I maybe scored it too harshly. I've since gone back and listened to some interviews with Guillermo del Toro, and I think his passion for making this film
Mm. He
is
loves his
is
monsters.
undeniable. He loves his
Mm.
monsters. He loves a relatable monster. He loves
He finds the
creating things.
humanity
Yeah.
in the monster. And what I also love, just as a female viewer, is that he is always of the opinion the woman can fall in love with the monster. He's done it time and time and time again. And like women, when we are like, I'm part of like the smut book community. It's all monsters. It's like fairies, it's ghosts, it's death, it's Satan. Like women just love monsters. We want to be in romantic relationships with monsters. We just do. We just love monsters. Because we're creepy little fucks. Do you know what I mean? And I feel so seen by Del Toro when he does that. Because we're just as interested in the monsters, but in a different way. Like we can see the humanity, and I think that he finds that aspect of creature features. That's his. I find that that's his signature calling card. He finds the humanity in the monster and urges you to connect
To
with
do the
it.
same, right? Yeah, and
Yeah.
I probably need to rewatch and then maybe rescore the movie, because similar to all the wonderful things you've said about it, I think it is flawlessly designed. The fact that they built so many of those things, I think Jacob Elordi's performance in particular
Every detail
was
is considered. Every
was
detail's
yeah.
considered.
I love the costuming, which was based, Mia Goth's character. It was Charlie.
Beatles.
Yeah, it was also Charlie, Ben's wife Charlie, who
Mm.
mentioned it. Like she's a costume designer by training, and she mentioned how much of it is actually based on what Mary Shelley's
Oh.
wardrobe at the time was like as well. And it was such a powerful attention to detail. And I've seen in hearing Guillermo del Toro talk about it how passionate he is for the film, and for the original text. My problems I drew on my first watching were things that I think were, and the reason it didn't feature in my top 10, despite all the exquisite design work, are things which, with hindsight and upon reflection, I'm not sure Guillermo del Toro necessarily had a hand in making those choices. And for me, it's the departures from the text and its inclusions which didn't need to be made, which I felt like sanded against my love for the film and the story at its heart, which, and again, you've heard me talk about this in an episode, for one of the greatest texts ever written that created an entire genre, that was written by, a female author who was a teenager and who had to originally publish the novel anonymously because she wouldn't be taken seriously as an author. And still to this day, there are academics that suggest that her husband supported some of the writing to that, and it's a pain. Whereas, anywhere else you just say, oh well, we can never possibly know, maybe, but why do we need to debate it anymore? She developed this incredible story, which is, the face that's launched 1,000 ships. And the things that I felt were, I think I was actually emotionally quite angry about it.
Oh,
Like that it
wow.
takes that in the telling of the film, the two things for me was that I think you can see the humanity of the monster if you make him more human, and therefore you allow him to do some unfortunate acts or make mistakes or do things which are
Sure.
considered evil. The
Yeah.
things, like the if you look at the original text of the book,
He kills a lot of
in
people.
frustration, the little
Yeah.
brother is not an adult in the book, he is an infant child,
Yeah.
and he strangles him to death out of frustration. He and frames the nanny for it,
He
who
frames that
sent
innocent woman.
sent to the
Yeah.
gallows. He
Yeah.
the
But he's
love,
so sad for
yeah,
it at the end. He's like a broken man because he was
and
like that. My hand was forced for the rage that I feel.
he kills not his brothers, but he kills Victor's wife
Wife.
on their wedding night as revenge for the fact
He
that he
said he was
promises
going
to.
to. In fairness, he said he was
Yeah.
going to.
Well, he promises to make him a companion and then backs out of it because he finds him so repugnant. And he goes, I will not make
Yeah.
you another.
But
Yeah.
then also he does say, how do I know that she will agree to go along with what you've bargained
Yeah.
for when I create her? She's her own being. And at that point in the book, you realize that he understands the gravitas
He's beginning to
of
come to
being a
understand
creator.
those
Yeah,
things.
you make something and you can't control what it will be when it's out there in the world.
And I think therein lies the challenge that I felt we could have respected the audience more and allow us to have the monster do some things which are complex and thought out. Not punching a few sailors into some fires, like making malicious decisions because you've been driven to this level of frustration. You've hated this creator, because that would for me make the
Yeah,
reconciliation in the final act of the film would feel earned because you had something to forgive each other for.
yeah.
Whereas in it, we do see Victor kind of saying, "Oh, we forgive each other." And I'm like, "Fuck, so you got to be forgiven for existing."
Yeah, yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from. I
So
can
there
see
was
where
there
you're
was
coming
there was
from.
that
But as a love story,
yeah, there
which
was that
it
that got
has,
me.
yeah,
Yeah, but there were other bits. The other bit was I didn't need the brother to go, "You, Victor, are the monster." People know, like, or
yeah,
you should trust that they know, or be able to work it out. Like, I feel there were concessions made to, and you mentioned it earlier, the two screen
yeah,
generation, where I think when you're an artist of that caliber as Guillermo del Toro is, you should be allowed to make a film that requires something of your audience.
yeah.
I
But
did,
when
but
Netflix is your
yeah,
distributor and they're financing the project,
yeah, I
we're
understand.
lucky that that's the only thing.
Needs must when the devil drives, as they say.
Well, and in this case, I think that's what happened.
Yeah. Um, I have Ben's number one for you.
Come on
You've,
then.
you've heard it mentioned, um, and it was on my list a couple of stops ago at number 5. Again, it's had its time at number 1 for me, but it was Weapons, which you haven't managed to see yet. But again, a whole episode for you to enjoy. It's gone midnight over here, everyone behind the curtain. I'm gonna be as brief as I can with this one, but a tremendously put together film. You've heard so many of our other contributors shout it out as their film of the year.
Everyone loves it.
It is tremendously made. I came out of the cinema absolutely wowed. I love the sort of, it's not even a non-linear narrative, essentially. It is a Venn diagram of narratives. They overlap in the middle, and you'll see the end of one and the start of another, and it's
Oh, that's neat.
so
Okay.
tremendously put together. I loved the subject matter. I loved the way that it was all presented. The performances are absolutely top notch. It was marketed to absolute perfection. Just enough intrigue, gives very little away. Um, a great movie. Like when we get to the top half of my list, 5-star movies. All the top 5 for me. Josh Brolin puts in a great performance. Benedict Wong is incredible in the movie. Julia Garner is an absolute star. We saw her in The Wolfman as well this year, so she's getting into her horror stuff and is incredible for it. Like, I can't wait to watch it again. There's some subtleties and there's some understandings, and I love how there is so much openness to interpretation in that. And again, so
Oh,
2025
I don't
with
know how I
with the
feel
lessons.
about that.
I think it gives you enough. You can understand it, and
Okay.
you can watch it at a perfectly surface level and say, "There's a bad witch who's doing stuff, and there are characters that oppose her in this film." But there's metaphors to be drawn for it. Is it a class thing? Is it a generational thing? You know, are you looking at the old generations literally sucking the life quite literally out of younger people and controlling their actions? Is it a metaphor for guns in schools? There is a large one in a dream above a building at some point that is left fairly open to interpretation. Zach Greger has said, like, you know what? I'm not going to tell you. You can
Yeah.
take what you want from that. But far from reading that as a lazy, I've scrunched up a bit of paper and said it's my art project, and
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
for the user to decide. Please give me an A star in my GCSE. I feel this is someone who has left breadcrumbs for us, has thought this through very intensely, and has put together something tremendous in this film.
And that was your number one, was it?
That was Ben's number one. It was my number 4. Double check that. No, my number 5. Sorry, Redux was my number 4.
Holy shit.
Right. Time for my number 1.
I'm ready.
And it was Ben's number 2, and I very rudely obscured it, but you have heard it mentioned by a few people. It's been all over my top 3 over the last couple of days. It landed at number 1 as we're cementing it in place now. It's Bring Her Back.
Wow.
Now, have you seen Bring Her Back yet, Emma?
I've not, because like I don't know how I feel about that kind of subject matter. Like I think I get upset too easily, and I feel like that it looks upsetting.
It is an upsetting movie. And I think that's what finally maybe cemented my decision to put it
Because it was
as
such a strong
number
emotional.
1. It is an incredibly emotional film, and I think of everything we've talked about, it's scary. It's a scary movie. It's a truly horrifying movie which takes very real, emotionally weighty subjects of loss and of wanting something back. And you know, you see these stories, literally you see them in the Frankenstein story, you see them in the Dracula story, and you see them in a modern setting. And the other things that elevated it for me, you get beloved and, you know, almost universally lovely character in films, Sally Hawkins as Laura, playing completely out of out of type, someone who is calculated, is obsessed, is looking to bring her daughter who has been lost back through any means necessary, and not through a thoughtless pact with a creature, not through not thinking through the consequences, knowing full well what the consequences are, but being so desperate to make this thing a reality that you will do literally anything. And to be someone who, at heart, is not a bad person, who didn't start as a bad person, but is willing to do something
Yeah.
absolutely deplorable.
They've been twisted by grief.
Yeah, to get this one thing back that she is so desperate for. Billy Barrett as Andy, just because I share a name with a main character, isn't why I chose the film. Incredible performance. Sora Wong, who plays Piper, his sister as well, not an actor before this.
Wow, okay.
Fan of this and performs incredibly throughout the film. Like, we live in an era where we've had like child actors that have grown up now, very different from the young actors when I was younger, that even like to the era of your Harry Potters and whatever. It's like, oh god, you became decent actors over time, but you were awful when you were
And we
kids.
had to sit through it.
Yeah. And someone who is so young being so talented, like incredible performances, really difficult subject matter, and it's just scary. And let's talk about the scares. I need to now just double check the name. So Oliver is played by Jonah Wren Phillips, this little boy you'll have seen in the marketing, the shaved head and the red eyes, and some of the things they do. I don't want to spoil it for you, Emma, let alone someone who hasn't seen it before. We've got a whole episode on it. The scene with the fruit and the knife is so disturbing. And we know, and we've seen this behind the scenes, that the thing that I love about the Philippou brothers as filmmakers is they're so heavily invested in practical things. And it looks like making films with them are fun. And you see the fun they've had on set doing terrible things that we've seen through the sound design and the scene with the knife and the biting of the
No.
and hearing that they've done it, and they've obviously made it safe for this young actor doing it, but then the director, one of the brothers directing it, is there, obviously not the sharp end, but making the Foley by biting a knife in the background. That is, yeah, incredible filmmakers. Again, people who I sincerely believe we'll be talking about for generations. And I think it's the commitment to not only make a incredibly well crafted and powerful movie, but something that was genuinely, both physically in the moment and then long afterwards, a scary film. Incredible. Another 5-star movie, and it was my number one of the year. Congratulations to you as well. I mean, we've made it through an epic. I think this is probably our longest episode of the year because we've got interesting things to share, you especially.
Oh, that's kind of you.
People hear me talk all the time. It's bloody lovely to have you with us.
Well, it's such a pleasure to be here and to have my mind tested in this way. And to realize how I need to go to the cinema more. If people would only behave.
If you could, everybody, wind it in, behave yourself. Emma could have
Just
seen.
fucking behave.
Would your like? We can't. We're not going to change this retroactively. It is set in stone. If you see these films later, don't worry. They can feature on a "What did you see?" and catch up on this year. But I've loved having different lists from all three of us. It's been lovely.
Yeah, it's a real little snapshot of what people are into as well, because you give everyone the same selection of films and everyone's going to come out with kind of slightly different takes, which is nice.
Do you want to, just for anyone recapping, do you want to just quickly roll off your last 10, your top 10 one more time? I'll do Ben's first so we get a break from me in the middle with you. So Ben's top 10 were from 10 to 1, George A. Romero's Resident Evil documentary, The Rule of Jenny Penn, Companion, The Toxic Avenger, Chain Reactions, Sinners, 28 Years Later, Frankenstein, Bring Her Back, and then Weapons. What were your 10, Emma?
Mine were Mother of Flies, Nosferatu, Apopheniacs, The Monkey, Companion, Deathgasm 2, Affection, Redux Redux, The Last Sacrifice, and Frankenstein.
And my top 10 were Silent Night / Deadly Night, Final Destination Bloodlines, Apopheniacs, Together, Dracula, A Love Tale, Weapons, Redux Redux, Sinners, The Long Walk, Bring Her Back.
Oh, we've done well, haven't we?
What a year in film, everybody. Lots of thank yous as we finish up and get ourselves off to bed before New Year's Eve tomorrow and Ben's birthday.
Well, it's New Year's Eve now. It's right now because
It
it's past
is.
midnight. So
New
it's
Year's
New
Eve.
Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve!
Happy New Year's Eve. Happy birthday, Ben.
Happy birthday to Ben.
Thank you, Emma, for joining us. Thank you, Ben, for all of your contributions and for being called away to do important stuff. So we missed you. We hope we've represented your views well. Thank you to everyone who sent us videos, who sent us voice notes, who sent us their top picks of the year. It's lovely to have you too. Thank you to everyone who's listened along with us, not just for today, but for the entire year. Thank you for everyone who's listened, contributed to us, written in. Thank you to all the folks at Patreon who can help us keep the lights on here. If you want to join them, you can catch them on Patreon / Horror Hangout Podcast. You can also catch up with us all over the socials. They're not what they used to be. So catch everything in all of the same place at horrorhangout.co.uk. And thanks for Acast for hosting the show, for the good folks at Rusty Quill for having us in their network, and Taj Easton, of course, the real MVP, does a lovely theme music every week. Good night, everybody. Happy New Year. See you in 2026 for another one.
Oh, I guess I should say bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye, everyone. Happy New Year. Thanks for
Bye.
listening. Bye.